Okay, everybody shut up. I'm going to do a countdown for audio, alright?
Okay.
Everybody start recording on Audacity in 3, 2, 1, go. I saw everyone's face get white because you guys opened Audacity. Welcome everyone to the Chris Podcast 4, or as I like to call it, the Piss Cock-Ass Whore. In 2018, we did the Chris Podcast number 1, and Christopher Cox is in the middle of wrapping up YouTube Season 2, doing classes at film school and working on the web series Panic. Then, in 2020, we recorded the Chris Podcast 2. This year was the end of Panic, but the beginning of the pandemic.
Dill's crying.
Shut up! Christopher Cox graduated college at this point and was going on a crazy upload schedule thing with the YouTube channel. The most content made all at once in his entire life, I assume. Then, in 2022, we did the Chris Podcast 3. The pandemic had finally started to die down. Chris was going full mega mode and making horror shorts and trying to work with YouTube's unforgiving algorithm. He made We're Not Safe Here that did not reach the views he wanted, but he was still happy with it. He accepted YouTube sucks at wieners. Now, in the year of our horror, 2020 horror, Chris has returned to YouTube. His horror shorts have been doing better than they were before. And we have a lot of questions we gotta ask, so let's get right into it. First question! How are you, Chris?
The piss cock-ass whore?
I saw your reaction.
doing that every fucking day. He's been saying it every day.
Time, and I was like, what?
Never heard of that one. I'm
It
doing
broke
good.
No.
Today's a great day to do this podcast because literally yesterday was the biggest film shoot of my life, basically.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Shot The Noise Next Door, and it was like the most stressful shoot ever. We were basically like an hour and a half behind the whole time.
Oh,
The whole shoot, just
Oh, God.
behind and catching up and moving as fast as we could. But yeah, it was insane, and I think I do think it's gonna be the best film I've ever done, honestly. And there's one shot when we got it, I was like, that's the scariest thing I think I've ever captured on camera. That's it.
Wow.
There we go. I was so happy. Yeah, I'm in a good mood.
That's
good.
awesome.
Must be relieving just getting that done.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I try to tell myself now, when like you're anticipating a big day like this, you're so fucking stressed. It's just you got it built up for so long, and to me, it's like the day before is the worst because you're not at the day yet, you know. But then when you're on the day before people arrive and stuff, you're just kind of in the mode, you know. And I could feel like I was pumped with adrenaline, and like as the shoot was going, every now and then, you know, like I'd be walking somewhere to like go get someone, so I was away from the set, and I'm like, holy shit, it's happening right now, holy shit, cool. And then you go back to it, you're not really thinking about it. But then and it was a 12-hour shoot day, 9 to 9. We ended closer to like 9:20, 9:30, but which is good because we were far behind the whole time. As soon as the last shot was done and I said that's a wrap, I felt all the adrenaline just go away. Like I like started yawning. I was tired. I was like, oh, there it is. That's what was keeping me going. It was a journey.
Was hit, and then
it was just a journey. Yeah.
I mean, it's like that for everything. For any project, and then just also medical shit, which I've been dealing with a lot of.
Luna, the last podcast
that's
you...
another part.
Oh, I gotta point this out. In preparation for this podcast, I watched all 3 of the Chris podcasts to see what we talked about before, to make sure we didn't, like, cover any of the same topics. Last podcast,
God
Lunar...
bless your soul.
That is smart. That's smart.
Your kidneys had just exploded, Lunar.
They had.
When we recorded the
and
third
now my
one.
heart is bad as well. But that's a different thing.
Just
I don't want to go.
But speaking of repeating topics, I need to bring this up, because this is the funniest goddamn thing I noticed. Every single Chris podcast, Chris, you have explained the story of Mob Hunt every single time. Like, every time. You're, like
why?
The first one, you're like, let me tell you how cool Mob Hunt is. I'm like the bad guy, and like Spencer and Robbie are like the side characters, and Connor's like the underdog. He's the only hope. You explained that again in the second and third one. So if you could give us the 4th rendition right now.
Yeah, I love
I think
We'll see which details. We'll see which details slowly go away with age, and my memory goes away.
I think MCU just gave us the 4th rendition of it.
That would be funny if what you said, Lunas, that memories start to fade. Like, the first one's really detailed, the third one was like, yeah, I was winning or something, and then the third one's like, yeah, there was mobs or something.
It's some sort of mob hunt.
And then in, like, the Chris Podcast 27, I just ask, mob hunt?
What are we doing anymore?
So at that point, we have to explain that.
Yeah, then you explain it to me.
You did with Deep Sheep. You remember Deep Sheep? You remember Camden?
Camden? Who is Camden? Mob hunt?
I'm out!
Is that like a Civil War thing?
When's Alan Todd episode 12?
Oh, Alan Todd, I remember that.
Who wants to... Oh, wait!
You're being taken care of your son, or taken care of by your son Harry Cox at that point as well.
He'll be my Harry Cox will if I name a Harry Cox, he'll be my accidental first child. That's how I'll do it. Just to let him know he wasn't wanted.
This topic of naming your child Harry Cox was mentioned on the first Chris podcast. I'm just gonna keep pointing out anytime anything has been said twice.
How are we already returning that? That's impressive.
We have to get into these questions before we actually say our questions. Chris, do you have any questions about Dodgeball?
Okay, all right, yeah, Dodgeball was awesome. That was such a cool experience. So, how did you guys figure out who was going to play who?
Wait, before we answer that, wait. I just want to point out, we actually told you this idea in the Chris podcast too. We told you about Dodgeball in number 2.
Oh, wow.
We explained to you the idea, and you're like, that sounds like a cool idea. And you completely forgot for when the video came out.
Dodgeball? What's that?
Dodgeball.
So,
making PE?
So, to determine... who would be in it just a long time ago. What's funny is, like, we didn't really be like, okay, for Dodgeball, you'll be this person. We just, like, back in, like, 2018,
this was at the beginning of the week call. I think
we
in
were
the
just
first
like,
week.
we were just, because also, and we can probably get into this more so, but, like, we built the structure for Dodgeball and plan to do it as video since 2018.
Yes.
it's from forever ago.
And
now, here's the part where I have to be an asshole. What took you guys so long?
we'll get into that. But to determine who was who, it was just we always were like okay, well, MT is the Chris of the group. Like that we just kind of like said a long time ago, like, oh yeah, well, you're this person of the group, you're this person of the group, and so when we did Dodgeball, it was like, okay, we'll just do that, and it ended up working out.
It was
And you played Daniel, right?
No, Daniel. The person who played Daniel is not here because he left our group, and that's why he's the Daniel. He is not doing an impression at all.
Yeah, he was talking completely
that's just his voice.
You guys were like,
he just sounds like Daniel.
To us, we don't think he sounds like Daniel. Like, we don't hear
I have
what
a
you're
theory
talking
about that. I have a theory about that, and it reminded me of, if you remember back when Connor started being in Deep Sheep videos, everyone was always like, Chris and Connor sound alike, and it's just like, it's like, oh, back then I could kind of hear that, but now, because I've heard Connor's voice so much with yours, it's like, that makes no sense. So I guess it's like the reverse, where it's like, we're so steeped in Beast's voice that we know he doesn't sound like Daniel at all, but then you guys who like never hear it, it's like, oh yeah, I see how that is.
Yeah, honestly, your voice kind of sounds like Daniel too. I don't know, maybe like a combo of Daniel and Connor.
Well,
I can definitely hear the Connor.
There's only one thing. You're the Daniel.
I'm not
the
the Connor of the group. That's not.
No, I mean you're the Daniel of the group. So get the fuck out of here.
Go join the army, asshole.
Get gone.
Go save our country.
Yeah, I'll go fight for our beautiful nation.
And then get married first. Oh,
yeah. That was something I wanted to ask
Good
about.
for him.
How was that wedding we saw on Instagram? You guys were there.
dude, it was awesome. That was the first wedding I've ever. Well, no. Okay, I've only ever been to 2 weddings, as in like the first wedding I ever went to, I was like 3 years old, so it doesn't count. But then after that, I hadn't been to a wedding until like I think it was 2 years ago. My cousin got married, and then it was last year was Daniel, and so weddings were still kind of new to me, and the whole story of us getting over there and like getting to the wedding was insane because we only had like a month's notice, and it was flying all the way to New Jersey to do it. And it was like a really like religious, like I think it was Baptist kind of ceremony. It was like very like proper and like, but like Daniel's up there, as soon as he saw us, he's just like smirking and shit. And it was like, it was like awesome. Like, I don't know, like you never really know how you'll react to stuff like that until it's happening. But then like when like the bride came down and then she's up there and then he's just staring at her and you can just see it. Like I had never met that girl. Like none of us had ever met her before. But here we go. You know, we haven't seen Daniel in 5 years and he's getting married right here. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I got emotional. I was like, oh fuck, damn, this is hitting hard. And then we partied the hell out of everything the night. That night we went up to clubs and stuff. It was awesome.
Nice.
So, to rewind back a little, to Dodgeball,
yeah.
we're going to forget this otherwise, like, we need to explain how we did the voices, like you and me.
Yeah.
Because
what I want to know is, like, what kind of mannerisms did you guys figure out to mimic? Because what's so funny about the different reactions is me and Spencer never mentioned, like, oh, that sounds like you, Chris. But then Camden and Connor were constantly be like, that's Chris. So, like, how did you figure your shit out?
And you guys were like, he sounds just like Camden. And then Camden was like, that sounds nothing like me.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I was kind of sad about that.
Yeah. I want to add, for Chris's benefit, I was part of none of this, so I'm also hearing a lot of these explanations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we should also say that really quick, is that Dodgeball was, like, the recording we did was going to have 5 people in it. Dell was going to be Nathan. And the joke was going to be he would just not say anything.
Yeah, Dell had the easiest job. Like, he didn't need to say anything.
He says nothing, and then at the very end of the video, that video fucking sucked.
We were going to sprinkle through the video a couple oh-no's and stuff like that, just throughout the video.
Just
Yeah, just a couple of Camden. Like, you want to go first with your... with how you did Camden? You want to start with that?
Yeah, I'm Camden, guys. But like,
we really wanted to get Dane because he's the Camden of the group, but unfortunately he couldn't make it for the recording.
These guys are liars. They're dirty lying.
That's
bastards.
a whole.
That's a whole thing.
That's a whole thing in
itself.
itself.
Right now, I'm gonna tell you right now.
This has
Yeah.
been,
Anyway, we'll talk about that later probably. But so
we'll get Chris's official opinion on it.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't think I watched anything like beforehand. I was just kind of like tapping into my memory, and it's like, well, first off, obviously Camden's like monotone, so you kind of have to talk, you know, like, and then he also like, and I'm glad that everyone who watched it laughed at it because I was proud of it. I felt like it was a Camden joke because he makes like puns a lot and like and like these like cheesy jokes where it's like so not funny that it's kind of funny and like. So like there was that joke whenever we blew up Daniel's head, and I was like, I guess you could say he's a bit of an airhead. I'm alright, guys. Like,
yeah,
and,
I
was like,
that's what works about Camden's style of humor because he's like that in real life too. He probably cracks the most jokes of anyone I know, but with his monotone voice, it doesn't matter if the joke is good or not. It's just the fact that he's saying it the way he talks. It just is funny.
And I also this wasn't even. I think I was just trying to like keep my reserve energy lower the whole time in the video so I wouldn't have as big of reactions because like right at the beginning we edited it
as we said in Chris Podcast 3 it's referred to as
disconnected Ed-Eye but like we Ed-Eyed it to be like my controller disconnected or whatever but it was actually just I think I just got disconnected from the server or something and but like when you see the pop up of the controller thing, I just like and I didn't even mean to sound like him. I just went like, "Oh, you've got to be sucking my dick."
Yep. That was a great detail. Like I forgot it was on PC when those pop ups were happening. I legit was like, "This is a Deep Sheep episode." Like I just was immersed into it, and then I'm like, "Wait, no, it's PC." Okay, they added that, and then like random gamer tags popping up. By the way. Who missed the detail that Laburnum is a lowercase L? Who missed? Well,
this was all Dell's fault because he edited this video.
I edited all.
I was going to fix that the capital L, but then I just forgot, and then the day came and we'd already scheduled. It was like, oh well, it's messed up forever.
It's all good. Hey, you guys are experiencing this though. You're experiencing how like it's so funny that you'll like put hours upon hours of work into something, but then one little detail like that will be the thing people point out. Like all of us pointed it out, and I was like, oh my god. And like at the end of the day, we don't fucking care, and it's like hilarious that it's actually capital L, and it's hilarious that all of us intuitively were like, that's wrong. Like I like said that's wrong, but then I'm like, wait, is it? But then I'm like, no, I know Liberta is lowercase L, so it's just funny. Like you make something that
I love
little
how
detail
when you
like
noticed it, Chris, you went fucking dog shit video. Like
yeah.
I also love how hyped Spencer got to see his name.
Oh yeah, Spencer was the reason you guys got the reactions. Like he was the head of that side of the project. Like he brought me in. He was so excited. You know, like I've never seen him be so excited and talking so much for a video.
He's our number one fan, so I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, he was always our biggest guy.
Yeah. Spencer's like the greatest cheerleader ever. He's just awesome.
He's our hype man.
I messaged you on Twitter saying if you want to react to Dodgeball, and you didn't answer. And I was like, I don't know if he uses Twitter. And I was like, what do we do? We really want
deleted Twitter a while ago.
Yeah, I was like, what do we do about like how can we ask them to do reactions? And I was like, oh, Spencer.
Spencer,
our messenger. He responded in less than an hour, like because I made the subject like dodgeball reaction, and he was like, back to the Camden.
Oh, we gotta tell them about that.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Just getting there.
Camden's perspective, the fake footage. I now have a new appreciation for how hard it must have been to set up the camera to look correctly. Because, I was the one who did that in editing. I just pointed my phone at my computer screen, and then, like, the sun was glaring, and then it was all blurry, and so I was like, I can't do that, and then I had to keep turning my lights off, and it was always at the wrong angle, and it looked bad. I was like, oh my god, Camden had to do this for crazy. Every single episode.
Like, if you watch, like, some episodes of Deep Shoot Season 1, but I feel like the best example of it is Hunger Games 3. Camden nailed the camera thing eventually, because it's almost to the point where literally the frame of his like TV or whatever was perfectly in frame, and like you just kind of forget that you're watching just him recording it with his camera. Like
exactly. He nailed the framing, and also he usually was filming in his basement because that was before he was 18 and stuff, so he's living at home with his parents, and he always recorded in the basement, so it's dark down there, not much like sunlight or anything distracting. So yeah, he always nailed that. And honestly, like from the beginning, especially when Alaxx had the dazzle and it was that quality, I preferred Camden's footage. I didn't care that was a camera in front of the TV. To me, it just looked better.
Yeah,
it was very fun to emulate the dazzle footage. So how that worked, by the way, Egg, who played Alaxx, accidentally had his bitrate lower in the footage. It was an accident, actually, that it looked like that. But we were like, great, that fits. And then I just added
fucked up, and it worked.
I just added black borders to the side to make it look like it's 4x3. And then I crunched the footage even. I turned it into 480p to make it even blurrier on purpose, so it would look more accurate. All of the footage has like a slightly white tint to it to make it look like Xbox.
Really?
Yeah, because you guys, you guys have. I actually let you explain this. You're more passionate about this with the game.
Oh yeah, well. Just in like the old Minecraft Xbox editions, this was in Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Was it because on PC how it is there's a brightness slider, and that is like your brightness in the game. But on Xbox it was the gamma slider, and and it was not like the brightness of the game. It was like pretty much the brightness of your fucking monitor, so it was like. If you had your gamma higher up, which most people did, it kind of added this grayish tint to it, which kind of gives it, and that's prominent even in Season 2, which I think helps to give it a special vibe.
I've also pointed this out. Exporting an iMovie also adds a bit of like a grayness for some reason. I used to use iMovie.
It does.
Yeah.
It messes
those two
with color.
together, it was like there's a lot of grayness to Deep Shoot Season 1, and
also,
everybody's footage has I put a filter to try to make it look like that.
You also remembered one detail that is literally 1 pixel wide, right, MT?
Oh my god, nobody will ever notice that. I'm assuming it's to do with iMovie, is like, on some of the perspectives, literally on the far left corner, there's a black line on some people's perspectives.
Oh, there is!
Yeah, okay, that is in Dodgeball.
Spencer's footage.
Yeah. No, it was on yours.
Spencer's footage always had the black bar, I think.
And it was Daniel. Daniel's also had one. Like I assume it has to do with something to do with iMovies, like cropping or something. But if you look in the footage, there's like black lines in places to have that sort of effect. I don't think anyone will ever notice that because it's so subtle.
I remember a black line. I thought it was Spencer's footage that had that.
Well, because it's on yours and Daniel's, it's probably also on Spencer's. Like, it's just on multiple people's, like, footage.
I remember the video that I noticed it was Welcome to Skin Town. Because I remember when I downloaded that video and I loaded it up in Premiere or whatever, I was like, oh, fuck, there's a black line. It's like you would never notice it unless you knew it was there.
Jeez.
So,
that's crazy. Y'all notice all these details. You honestly, like, I'm gonna be a fan. Like, you should make a video just showing all of the details that you put into it, because no one would know. Cool. But it's the fact that, like people, I think, especially the state of YouTube nowadays and the whole, like, widespread content, people forget what passion is and what art is. And what you guys made was art. Like, you put in so much work and like analysis details into it that people love just seeing how much work you put into something because they're not used to that.
I had a few friends that pointed out that they were actually fooled for a couple seconds.
Yeah. I was fooled, and I made the fucking things.
One person specifically told me they didn't realize it was fake until the April Fools at the ending. Apparently the whole time they were like, why do they sound so weird? They have different voices. What is going on?
Wasn't that Faber Polychrome?
I think it was
Y'all
Faber
should
Polychrome.
make a Deep Sheep season 0.
It was Elf.
Just like a secret.
My performance as Chris. What I was going for was, I have high energy, but I'm secretly dead inside because this is hard. Was the voice I was trying to create, basically, and I feel like I captured it.
Host mode.
Yeah, host mode is basically what you can call it.
Because that was the thing. Like, honestly, across the Deep Sheep crew, like, we all will do impersonations of each other. Alex gets a lot of impersonations. Spencer gets a lot of impersonations. Camden gets a lot of them. Connor gets a lot of them. I don't. People don't really impersonate me a lot. So when I was like, wait, I'm going to be in that video, I don't know how people see me. Like, I really don't. And over the years, like, I've learned, like, okay, I am, like, a high energy person. So I've figured that out. Yeah. And then I've also figured out, like, I go into director mode, host mode. Because whoever's, like, the head of something. And you're right. It's like you are constantly under stress. And when I was talking to Spencer, Camden, and Connor about it, where I'm like, so what do you guys actually, like, describe how I am with shit, because I actually don't know how I come across. And they were saying they can tell that I'm, like, trying to keep things organized, and I can recognize when something will look good in a video or sound good, and I'll try and play it up in some way while I'm hosting. But this is all shit I'm not thinking about. It's just happening. Yeah. So that's interesting that you, like, analyze that and you describe it as, I'm high energy, but I'm secretly dead inside. Because that was definitely me when I was younger, when I couldn't handle the stress. And I was getting pissed off all the time. And I was just like, this isn't working. Why isn't this fucking working? Like, I would get super stressed. But then I think I mellow out slowly into, like, season 2. And I just kind of go with the flow and accept, like, all right, shit's going to go wrong, whatever.
I would definitely describe it as you are the number one hype man. Like, you always want to be like, this has to be the big moment. And you always got to narrate it. That's why throughout all of Dodgeball, after I die, I go to spectator mode, and I'm like, oh god, it's Alaxx versus Camden, who will win? Like, I had to hype it up.
And also, Camden and Connor pointed out that Spencer got to experience that when he was the host of 5 Chambers, because we love quoting, like, he's doing the cuctus. Oh, cuck! And like, oh man, Connor's not playing nice here. Like, he said a bunch of shit because he was spectating, so he's trying to host. But, like, Spencer's never done that, and Spencer has his own unique sense of humor, so he's just saying weird shit, but it's hilarious. So you end up doing that when you're, like, hosting shit. You're, like, trying to keep the energy going.
Yeah, that reminds me of, like, in it was one of the podcasts you guys did in 2021 where you were, like, reminiscing on season 2, and you were talking about that with Spencer and 5 Chambers, because you guys were, like, laughing at that moment, and you were like, yeah, no, Spencer was like, okay, this is the only episode Chris isn't in. I gotta make this so fucking good. Like, and, he's like, fuck, oh, cock, Camden's commanding, you know, like, and yeah, like, and it's
Camden's
really
commanding. What does that mean?
Yeah, what the fuck? I also just love he's like, oh, cock! He's using the cactus for this one. Like, oh, cock!
He's using the cactus. Oh, cock!
I just wanted to point out, like, because you were talking about all, like, the detailed, like, things we put in the analysis or whatever. The thing is, and this is kind of like what Camden and Connor said in their reactions toward the end or whatever, is as Camden was like, did they do research or do bros just kind of know us? And and the thing was, is it was like none of us did any. Like I know MT did some preparation.
Well, okay, wait. Before we do, I have to point out I am the one who made the Deep Sheep documentary, so I had to watch everything for that. So I just kind of had remembered things like after that.
Yeah,
so,
and then like I just kind of like because I've watched and I was like, I guess we did do research just over the course of our lives or whatever, because I just remembered shit. Like, I just, like, remembered all the shit or whatever. And, like, I think that goes into also the visual stuff, where it's, like, as, like, a fan, I guess this is a perspective you guys have never had because you were in Deep Sheep or whatever. Like, as a fan, when you think of those times, you think of Camden's, like, recording his mic, you think of, like, Alaxx's 4x3. His was the grayest footage of all. But, like, like all that shit, and it's just like that's kind of what you remember, and those little things are what you remember, or like Squeaker, Spencer, and Robbie or whatever. So it's like those are kind of what you remember. So I feel like it wasn't even like I remember like a great example is right after we filmed it. I remember I was like, MT, when you edit this, you've got to do the scoreboard from season 1 with the and he was like, I already know.
Yeah, I was like, I already no. I've already thought of that.
And that was one of the moments where, like, when we watched, I was like, "That's fucking perfect! Like, that's so good."
You mentioned how Alaxx's footage is the worst. This is something I did on purpose. I don't know if I've told you guys this. When I did the Xbox filter to everybody's like audio, I made you as Alaxx. I made yours the worst on purpose because Alaxx always was like either too close to his mic or just like it was always like he always had the worst. Yeah, so I deliberately made it worse than everybody else's. It's more compressed. The bass is way higher. But that was so much. I was worried that wouldn't work. Was the Xbox side? I was like, I don't know if it's gonna sound right because I'm using Audacity like audio filters. But then like I showed everybody and I was like, that's spot on. That's perfect. And I was like, are you sure? Everybody seemed to love it. You want to say
always take quality away. It's impossible to add quality.
Egg, do you want to say your process of doing Alaxx? I know you spent weeks researching to.
Well, the thing is with Alaxx, right? The only one of the only reasons I'm the Alaxx of the group is because I can yell like a motherfucker and I'm always loud. And
you cuss the most.
And I cuss the most. So, but. For Alaxx, the only preparation I did is I watched half of the Crazy Jack 28 montage video, which I still think is fucking hilarious. Like that's a great video. So I was like, okay, just be loud, cuss, and just say stupid shit. All right, here we go. So I went in and I did that. Like this was obviously cut out, but sometimes Matthew like told me like, hey, just say this because that's kind of what Alaxx says.
Something I told you beforehand because before we started, I was like, here's a requirement of stuff we have to say. Like
we had specific beats we needed to hit.
For Matthew, it was for Matthew, it was you have to say I'm on fire, like that thing, the way Camden says it. We had like a checklist. I don't think there was one for Chris, but I just remember I came to you, Egg, and I'm like, the only requirement for you have to say hussy at some point, any point in the video, just find a point.
We also had a requirement for Beast.
That's what I was
say
about to bring up.
Soap, what is water?
Yeah, we told Beast say soap, what is water, and he said, where am I going to put that? I don't know how to fit that anywhere.
No, I remember. I think why he said that because I think what round was this? Was this round 3?
It was in between rounds. I think.
So I was like, it was like a new fresh round, so I was going back, and my brain was like, "Hey, you gotta say that fucking MacBook line." I'm like, "Oh," and then I just like, "Oh, Emmett is in the structure. Oh, let me just walk up to him and say, my MacBook probably did. That'll probably be funny." So I just did that, and then activated Beast to saying soap.
He went,
soap,
what is water?
That moment is so magical. I need to point that out. Because nobody is talking for no reason. We just all got quiet I didn't cut any audio. We were just all silent. I'm just sitting inside there doing nothing. And then Egg, he enters and he just walks right up to me and I'm like, hi? And he goes, my MacBook probably did. We just lost it. I also love your guys' reaction.
It honestly looks like it's a moment from a machinima because you do like the slow turn and then he just walks in and it's like...
there's a lot of that throughout like Deep Sheep videos. Like we end up inhabiting our characters as if we're people. And we're, like, acting it out like a machinima.
Yeah. Something I want to point out about Alaxx, about you cussing a lot, is Chris, you did a podcast in 2021 where you and Camden and Connor did the fuck counts for all of season 2, and that inspired me to do that with We Cult videos. And so I was
Do you still have that list?
I do have it, and I don't think I told this to you, Egg, or maybe I did, but I did Dodgeball because there's an uncensored version, so here's the rankings right here. I have it written down.
Okay, and, is it lore accurate?
Let's see if it's lore accurate. So MT as Chris did 0, and that's accurate to season 1.
For season 1, yeah, that's accurate.
Me as Camden, I thought I did more, but I only did 1. And
that's good.
Beast as Daniel did 2, and then
not accurate.
And then Egg / Bodie as Alaxx did 30.
There you go.
Because there's literally a part where he's like dodging shit and he goes, "Oh, piss ass, fuck, dicks, fuck ass." Like
that was because in Escape the Ravine, I remember when Alaxx was just running through, he just starts fucking cussing. Yep. Like, not even. I just remember that. Like, let's just say that shit. I don't know.
Oh, and that
big one is Jailbreakers. He has the record for the most fucks in a single episode, and
that has like 200 fucks, right?
It was like 200, and it's because multiple times in the video he just goes on a tangent of fuck. Yeah,
there's that one part in the video for like 2 minutes where he goes fuck.
Yeah, that too.
And but something else. What was it? Oh yeah, I'd lost it.
Unfortunate.
What was it?
I'm trying to remember.
That get fucked skill issue.
Oh no, I remember it now. One of the beats we in the list of beats that we wanted to hit was at the end.
That's what I was about to say. Same wavelength.
Well, yeah, same wavelength. The Chris and Camden. But we had the beat we wanted to hit of like. At the end of it, because Spencer, a long time ago, I used it in the What Were Deep Sheep's Unused Games video when he was in the voice chat with us telling us about the Season 3 games. Like, someone asked, I think it was Beast, was like, because this was a theory we had from Welcome to Skintown, was like, was Escape the Ravine just like a substitute for Dodgeball? And Spencer was like, yes. And so we wanted to incorporate that into the story, and that was a beat we wanted to hit where at the end of Dodgeball, we're like, this game kind of sucks.
Yeah. I was going to have it to where
is way better.
I completely cut dropped my, what is it, I would completely drop the sort of host persona and be like, guys, I don't know if this game works. That was the only thing we agreed upon. It's like at the ending, I'm gonna be like, this sucks. It's like, yeah, we should. That's why at the ending, that's why Laburnum shows up. It's implying that he's getting online to play Escape the Ravine. Was the idea?
Oh shit!
And this is something none of you guys notice in the reactions that we all love. Is because I told him just act like you're like what.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, this is an example, you guys talk about this in your podcast a lot, of a moment where it's like, no one in the video heard it, but in editing, we find it, and now it's like the main thing we quote from the video.
Yeah. I told, like, just when this moment happens, you guys would be like, oh yeah, that one game, yeah. And then, Beast is like, oh yeah, that's a good one, and then Egg as Alice goes, Ravine Game? He sounds like a caveman or something. Like
he sounds like Scooby-Doo. Like he goes, Ravine Game?
Actually, use the soundboard. We could just play it.
Oh yeah. Hold on, let me play it.
You got a soundboard for it?
Yeah.
Ravine Game?
That's it right there.
Ravine Game?
Yeah, for this entire month, like it's just been fucking.
Yeah, literally
like,
anytime someone's like says a question, it's like, wait, what are we doing? And then we go, what are we doing? Like, it's...
the brain rot is real.
Yeah.
or like I remember like in this week somewhere, I think Emmett just told me like. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a new Chris podcast, and I just said like Chris podcast, like.
Oh yeah.
I think what it was is he was like Chris podcast this Sunday, and you went this Sunday. Like,
oh yeah, that's what it was. We do. It's one of those quotes that just fits with everything. It just works with any context.
It's like dude, I'm mad or whatever from Connor with Iron Chef. Like we still say that all the time.
We talked about this during the Chris podcast. So, Chris, how has your time been away from YouTube?
It's been good. Oh my god. I mean, I've always been like a big mental health guy, but like Jesus Christ, I really escaping the content sphere for a bit helped me. It helped me just kind of evaluate life. You know, yeah. Because, like, I mean, we're part of, like, a unique generation where we remember discovering the internet and, like, what it was and hearing about social media things. But the generation beneath us, like, they were born into it. So they don't understand kind of the toxic nature of social media and content creation and how it sucks you in, and you build up these weird parasocial relationships with strangers that don't actually know you at all. They just, you know, like, my problem making content from such a young age and continuing to do it for so long is that I inadvertently allowed myself to seek validation through the clicks and views and numbers and all that. Even though I had heard all of the trappings of you shouldn't care about that, don't let it get to you, I told myself I'm not letting it get to me. But it was so secretly ingrained because I was doing it as a kid, and I'm seeing the effects of it for a lot of people who don't understand. And it's like getting away from it all and finally telling myself, like, this thing that I've done for over half of my life, time to just not do it for like a year and a half, basically. And I still kind of want to continue not doing it for a bit. You know, and just, like, I just tried to spend more time in the world and, you know, talking to people in real life and not being online so much, deleting Twitter. I don't go on Instagram anymore. I don't go on social media at all. I never had a TikTok really, but, like, I deleted the hell out of it. 'Cause to me, that one's the worst one. Like, as soon as you get into it, you're sucked into
I've
it.
not even
the doom scrolling. Yeah, the doom scrolling.
Yep. The less apps I have on my phone, the quicker, when I inevitably just pull out my phone when I'm bored, I swipe, look around, don't see anything I want, I put it back. Because otherwise, I'm going to be trapped, stuck onto my screen, you know? It's been a weird journey not making content for a bit and just figuring out what I want to do. And honestly, like, you know, because I looked at that trilogy of Sweet Dreams, We're Not Safe for Nabby's Monster, and, like, I wanted, you brought it up at the very beginning, like, I wanted that to be kind of the start of the phase of, like, I'm making horror films and that's what my channel's known for now. And Sweet Dreams had a good start, and then We're Not Safe, You're Tanked. And then by the time I was making Abby's Monster, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to make anything after this. I'm going to be done for a bit. Fuck this. I also didn't have a job at the time, so I needed to get a job. But then now I'm in a much better place in my life. I feel a lot better. It's weird because, like, recently I've been doing, like, interviews with like, just fans, like, people who contact me, like the video that I made recently where I said that I've been doing interviews. Contact me if you want to do an interview. Someone did. And he's a college film student. He has a couple friends, and he's watched me since, like, Candy Bar, like, legit forever. And I shared, like, my advice for film and stuff with him, and he's gone through a lot of the same things I have. And I, like, realize now that I needed to take that time off to really figure out what was actually going on in here, why I wasn't happy, why I was stressed so much. And now, this last shoot that I did, biggest shoot I've ever done, the most stressful shoot I've ever done, but I feel the most proud. And even though things went wrong, it doesn't beat me up because I've also accepted The Noise Next Door will not be my masterpiece. That's okay. All I need is to make it better than the last one and just keep building from there. And yeah, it's going to be the best one. So, boom, we're doing it.
I had a similar, like, arc with that, but, like, on speedrun, because mine took 1 year. With my cartoons that blew up, and then I was trying to recapture that and it wasn't working. And I was like, maybe I should listen to all those people that said this is a bad idea to try to, like... I'm
telling, because I messaged you. When that happened, I messaged you, and I said, you're gonna go through a lot of fucking shit right now.
You messaged me for the Multiverse of Madness cartoon because nobody was watching that. That video did horribly. And you were like, this happens, it's amazing, don't, like, let the views be what determines what you're proud of, or something like that. I was like, you were so right. And I really appreciated that.
Because the problem is everyone in the world nowadays is chasing clout. And the ultimate clout is going viral. But that is not what makes you happy. Because the problem is, once you get that goal of going viral, you are not in control of going viral. That's the thing. Don't look away. I was not in control of any of that shit. And I've tried to capture it again, and I can't. It's not in my control. And so taking that time away, I really realized YouTube's just a fucking cesspool. I fucking hate this site. Like everything's an algorithm. Everything is based on that, and everything's based on money and the bottom line and getting
Everyone's
clicks.
trying to game the system. Like,
the commercialization is the death of art, because the problem is our average everyday person is not an artist. They are not someone who, you know, really values film and music and whatever in the same way that we do, because we create it. So we absorb so much of it and we analyze it and we love the form itself. They just want to be entertained. That's all they really care about. And the easiest thing is to just mass advertise shit that looks good, and that's what they pay attention to. But the unfortunate reality is most of the really good shit that you hope you could find, like, oh, all movies suck nowadays. No, you're just watching the wrong ones. You got to go find them. You got to go look them up.
You have to find what you want to see, what you want to play, what you want to do. Like, because there's a lot of, like, I found it out with games. Like, there's so many games. I just want to fucking play Frostpunk for 30 hours because that's a game I want to play.
I literally I go through phases of Halo, Left 4 Dead, and Minecraft. That's like it. I don't really play anything else.
I don't need anything else.
There's like a John Green quote or whatever from one of his books. Where it's like, pay attention to what you pay attention to. Like, and I think because it's also like you're saying, like, we're in this attention economy. And it's just like, really though, the only winning is just attention and money. Like, you
also you have to like make so much content and maintain it and not stop. If you stop, you're screwed. And so it's
like if that's what you feel like in your life you need to do, like, that's cool or whatever. But I feel like for most people, even if you win, right, like, you're not gonna be fulfilled or whatever.
If you win, you lose.
Yeah, because like I saw this clip from some podcast that Mr. Beast was on, and I don't have anything against him. His videos are just not for me. But like, he seems like the way he talks or whatever. I'm like, I feel like if I was him, I would be so unhappy, because he was talking about like, like, I have to be careful about like who I want to pick as my girlfriend, because she has to learn with me, like, and it's like, if I'm gonna spend an hour with you, I could be making $100,000 in that hour. And I was just like, that sounds depressing. Like, like, that just sounds horrible. Like, and he's supposed to be the most successful person or whatever. So it's like,
to me,
just like,
I don't know,
want to
like,
be him.
Yeah, from my perspective, I just kind of think there's a certain level of success that is impossible to achieve without stripping away your humanity in a way, because especially for Mr. Beast, he is the brand, and once you become a brand, you are no longer yourself. You know, like, if he gets really pissed off someday and on camera is caught going on a really, cuss-filled rant, I'm sure that would be bad for him. But that's him, because we all do that. But that's not the brand, so he can't do that. And that's the dangers of nowadays with social media, where people are the brand, not the brand itself.
So it's kind of how I feel about when someone has a breakup. Like, it sucks when you go through a breakup, but it's even worse for famous people when thousands of people are watching it and like judging it, and it's like, that must be such a nightmare.
Or if you're like one of those couple vloggers or whatever.
And your whole content is being a couple.
Or like one of those family vlogging YouTube channels.
I think family vlogging is evil. That's evil.
But that's for...
That's evil. But then they go through like divorces and shit, and it's just like, like, these are like real people that just like literally sold themselves, like,
because it's all a lie. It's all a lie. That's why I hate like vloggings and content where it's all this glossy version of your life, because it's all going to be a lie. You're always going to try and hide the worst parts of yourself, because every human being on earth goes through those bad phases. All of us have something about ourselves that we don't like, that we're trying to change. And unfortunately, with brands and what people look for, they want squeaky clean. They don't want mistakes and faults. And the problem is, if you fuck up once, it's very hard to win people back, because they suddenly realize you're not what you advertise yourself as, but you never were. It's just you were showing the best version of yourself. And I just wish people would accept that all of us are allowed to fuck up. What matters is how we then change. And most people are too afraid to even admit they fucked up once, so then that means they don't have to change. I'm already perfect. No, you're not. We never are. We're never perfect. Keep working on yourself. Take time away from social media. Work on yourself. It helps.
If you live a perfect life, if you are a perfect being, well, congratulations, you've reached nirvana. What are you doing now?
Yeah. Well, yeah, also, if you reach Nirvana, fucking help other people, but do it for free. Because that's the other thing.
Yeah.
If someone comes to you and is like, here, I know everything. I'm going to help you for a price. Fuck off. Do not trust them. They're trying to get something out of you. Yeah. Don't trust it.
So
I actually had a discussion with some teenagers. They're like 5 years younger than me, and they were talking about like, they're kind of tired of seeing content creators complaining about being just being depressed and stuff like that. And I said, and I just started discussing them. I was like, no, it's not the same as a normal job.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
Like, it's not
like
the
I've
same.
explained this
You
to
are becoming
friends
a product.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's
And also, like, especially smaller YouTubers who, like, are basically just one person. It's like running a business on your own.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you have to do everything. You have to do video ideas. You have to do scripts.
It's all
you
on
have to
you.
edit. You have to
Like,
everything. That.
Dale, I just want to point
like-
out, I don't mean to, like, insult your point, because it's valid, but I just have to point out how funny your framing is. Because, like, you're just, like, in the bottom of your screen, and there's all this negative
your
spin.
framing looks like an apology video.
Yeah, look, there you go. Oh,
Can you
that
give us an
reminds me.
apology
Hey,
real
guys.
quick?
Yeah,
Dale
you need to
here.
do an apology, though.
The,
Give us your apology.
Chris,
What are you sorry for?
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry.
That was pretty good, actually. That's pretty accurate to what most
I'm
YouTubers
sorry.
do.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. The dog was too sexy. Okay.
Well, no, what you gotta do is
It's
you
not
have
like
to
you
have
can
the
say
camera
no.
rolling already. The camera's rolling, and then you walk in here.
you sit
yeah,
down,
let me
do
do
a
that.
side, do a side, side.
Yeah, you do have to
Aside.
adjust the microphone.
This video
This is
Oh, it's like
Chris,
my April
you did a
Fool's video.
video like this to announce season 2. You're like, there's something I have to tell you.
I
Oh,
wanna point out,
and
by the
that's
way-
to fucking make fun of that shit, because it's so
Yeah.
stupid.
I never
I
wanted to
remember
make
that.
this video, but
You have to also wear some very casual clothing, like have your dog or your cat with you.
I remember the worst
Like
one
that.
was the
wait,
one
hold
of
on. I'll
Anthony
get a
leaving
dog.
Smosh.
I'll get a dog here. Hold on.
Don't
Get a
forget
dog.
the ukulele.
Emmett, were you pointing out I'm wearing the same shirt now that I
well,
was?
no,
in the
no.
reaction?
The way your guys'
am.
reaction
Did
is,
you just become very aware of that fact?
I did.
Yeah.
the
I was not aware of that fact.
you and Spencer's reaction to Dodgeball, it almost feels, the opening almost feels like a apology video, which we thought, because you guys,
like,
you put the camera, then you sit down, and you're like, hello. Like, it just really felt like you guys are doing an apology video. But yeah, are we ready to jump into...
make this video?
Now stop it.
Part of your apology, I'm sorry that I do not hate animals. I love my dog.
Okay, we're gonna jump into questions right now. I'll start. These first two actually, they have to do with the last podcast we talked. This isn't really a question, so I just wanted to bring this up. Last podcast, we mentioned that me and Zach were going to meet up soon.
Yeah, and that happened. That was awesome.
That did happen. That was the greatest trick I have ever pulled in my entire life, because
Oh
nobody
my fucking-
in the
You
group knew that he
fucking
was coming.
shit.
Nobody
This-
knew it. And on our 5-year anniversary podcast, we're doing it like this. We're doing a video podcast, and I'm like, hey guys, and then like there's a knock at my door, and I get up, and I bring Zach in, and everyone's like, they couldn't believe it.
Also, I was like weirded out because I was like, he really wants to do a podcast.
Yes, I was about to say this. You realized, like, after that, like, yeah, this
Also,
is never this excited
Zach
to do a
was supposed
podcast,
to be
like,
there
ever.
for the podcast, but it was in our mind that he's just back in the UK where he lives, like trying to get home from work, and he's like saying all this shit like about like there's like a horse in the road, and for some reason we weren't like, that's obvious bullshit. Like he was like, oh, there's a horse, there's a cart and a horse, and it's following.
he didn't say a cart. That would be too ridiculous.
Like
Ah, yes,
Raise your
the
shit
peasant
up.
maneuver.
and like I think it was Dell or someone was like, is the horse okay? Like like we just totally got fucking got.
Yeah,
Emmett,
but
Emmett. That is the ultimate Chris move, to do a whole surprise prank, because
And
I love doing that.
The fucker
it's
did
a lot
it
of fun.
again. Like,
oh yeah, the
like,
next podcast I did it again.
he did it again because there was this huge moment that caused me to scream, and I've never screamed so loud in my life.
Oh,
And
yes.
I was like, "Did you record it?" And like, just because I think earlier I said you should probably record my reaction to what's about.
Or just logically, I'd record it because I record funny stuff like that.
Yeah. And then you were just like, no. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, let Del tell it. He's already telling you.
Yeah. And then he like on the podcast he was like he was just pestering me for like a month to record this podcast. I was like, I mean, the story is not like it's not going to be entertaining on a podcast unless you have the recording. So I was like, and I was just kind of hesitant to do it. And then he revealed it again, and I freaked out.
Yeah.
Revealed that he had in the podcast. The reveal was that I did record it. And Luck was saying that's like
that whenever Emmett is excited for a podcast, something fucking fishy is up. Something is gonna happen.
I remember that reminds me.
Emmett, you have to train yourself to hide it. You have to be an actor. It's
That
tough.
reminds me of when he showed me I don't know who else was there, but I know when he showed me the you and Spencer reactions before Camden and Connor had recorded their reaction to Dodgeball. Like he just went. I have a surprise for you. And I was like, okay. Because that day, he really wanted me to get in the voice chat. And I was like, oh, God, what is this? And then he sends it in my DMs. And I was like, I kind of have an idea as to what this is. Because that's, like, the only thing that we're, like, looking forward to is to have some sort of reaction. And I assume this is what everyone else did. I imagined that what it was going to be is, like, Spencer just records himself watching it, and then you record yourself watching it, and it was going to be like they're edited together, you know?
Chris is distracted because Luna has a cat.
I'm so distracted. You have an orange cat. Where's mine?
Yeah.
Leo!
He's hiding.
Leo, come here. Come on.
Get in the podcast. This is now the Leo podcast 1.
Yeah, screw you, Chris. Get out of here. We want Leo.
You were
ask him some questions about.
You were calling your cat to come. I was imagining.
Leo.
He came over like a dog. I fucking love this goddamn cat.
Staring at him.
I trained him to do this shit. This is adorable and probably cringe, but I don't care. I love him. I fucking trained him. He'll just like put his face up against my face and shit. I fucking love this cat. Come here. Come join the podcast.
Do you have
some? Also a fat
we can put this in the. We can put this in the title. Special guest Leo.
Featuring Leo the lion.
When
an actual lion.
When Chris did this, when he was like, "Come here," I don't know why, but it made me think of the reveal of Zach. So for my brain, for 1 second, thought Zach was going to appear on Chris's head, which would have been the craziest reveal.
But yeah, no. With the reaction or whatever, I was expecting it to be like you guys recorded your reaction separately and it would be edited together. So that's what I was expecting. But then when MT sent the link, I saw the thumbnail and I was like, oh fuck, they're in the same room. I don't know why that was so cool. I was like, oh, that's fucking crazy. And so I was just hyped as hell to see that. Like, that was dope.
Back to questions. I gotta sort of speed run through these, and we're never gonna get done. The other thing I was mentioning regarding the me and Zach meetup, that podcast, we really hyped the video we were gonna make, a date with Zach Chambers. That was not filmed. So if anybody was watching our podcast, was really excited for that, we're gonna work on that eventually. We just didn't. We haven't filmed it
in 2028.
Spencer just cried out. I heard him.
Yeah, he listens to all of our podcasts.
Last podcast, and Chris, keep in mind your response to this. Make it quick because we got a lot of questions we got to get through. Last podcast, you mentioned you were really hyped for Last of Us. What did you think of the show?
It's probably the best video game adaptation I've seen, which isn't saying much, but they did a pretty good job. He doesn't like being helped, so. Yeah, I really didn't like their handling of Joel. That was probably my biggest complaint. Yeah, they really stripped away Joel's actual scary strength.
Yes,
I would. They kind of just talked about it.
They talked about it. We didn't really get to see him actually be a tough guy. Now, of course, in the game, you literally kill hundreds of people. That's not realistic. But holy shit, Joel barely gets in any fights, and he barely wins any of them. And then the big moment is right before winter happens in the game. When he falls and lands on that pipe and is impaled, it's such a huge, scary moment. And he's like, you're like crawling and all this shit. In the show, it's just one random guy shows up, little stab, and then that's it. And then he passes, and it's like, okay, maybe that's more realistic, but that was the whole point of Joel. Joel is a tough motherfucker, and you took that away. So
they
like,
literally like made it to where it was after he was tough. Like he has that line. He's like, 5 years ago I would have destroyed him or whatever. And it just like it's like why isn't the show set 5 years ago? Like
show don't tell. That's the most important rule. Show don't tell.
Yeah.
Because and that's the problem too. Where unfortunately, like Spencer and Connor and Cam and I, we're always talking about that. Where we're just like, when you make an adaptation, unfortunately, that is for a new audience. So it isn't. It cannot please you because you're already attached to it. They're trying to get new people, but other people look for something else. So for them, they don't care that Joel isn't really tough, or maybe they think he is because that's what they experience. But they don't understand why we loved Joel, and so it's like it's just a detachment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But overall, they did a pretty good job. I think they did too many side stories that took away from Joel and Ellie. And it was just like, okay, is this a Joel and Ellie show or not? I thought though that they nailed the last 2 episodes. I thought those were like
those were really
best.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this next question is kind of big, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of discussion. So just prepare yourself.
Oh yeah, you have to dig in your memory for this one.
Yes.
If you ever have to tell me don't talk as much, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
That's how it is for all of
after
us.
season 1 of Deep Sheep, you guys have mentioned this before. Alaxx and Robbie were kicked out, but then Robbie was given a second chance. Now we want to know first of all, why was Robbie given a second chance? Like what? Why?
Because it seems also you guys in a couple podcasts, I think it's Late Night 13 or something like that, you guys talk about like lots of scenarios where you guys were like mad at each other and stuff, and like you say like Robbie was a slow build-up of a bunch of little things that really pissed you off, and like then he was kicked out, and like it was weird because it was like the way you guys talked about it, obviously there's information we're missing, so it's like it sounds like Robbie was kicked out for just like he was pissing people off as well. Like
should we say Pele, by the way?
Huh?
Should we be saying Pele? I know he goes by that now.
Pele.
I'm fine dead
pale
naming him
salsa?
when he was Robbie. So
Okay.
But like he, it sounded like it was like kind of a more personal thing with him, and it was like and then Alaxx, the way you guys talked about it, it was like, oh well, he just is hard to schedule. So I was like, huh. Just from what we've heard, it seems like you would give Alaxx a second chance and not Robbie. And also, like, I feel like back then as well, because I know probably you guys were thinking about, like, in videos or whatever, kicking Alaxx out and leaving him out, like, you're losing a lot of, like, charisma and stuff in videos and energy.
he's the most popular one.
And then that's why it's odd why you would add Robbie back.
Yeah, because you guys made that, or were going to make that Goodbye Alaxx video. And
I'm trying to remember, because I honestly don't remember everything anymore.
Yeah.
But I do know that in general, Alaxx wasn't as close to too many members of Deep Sheep as Robbie was. Robbie was more kind of ingrained in the friend group, and especially when you're all teenagers, that's the whole social aspect of it is so important because. Unfortunately, we're making content. So, Alex, the most popular one. Do we want to get rid of him? But also, like, we're actually just a group of friends trying to make fun videos. Like, we don't want to ruin friendships with this kind of stuff. And so with Robbie, like, he had so many ideas for stuff. He always wanted to be in videos and wanted to do stuff, but then a lot of other things would get in the way. I can't share too many personal things, but he had, home life stuff happening that just constantly got in the way and made a lot of video stuff difficult. But he kept trying to bounce back. And then Alaxx, I think Alaxx also like kind of, I feel like I remember him saying he was okay not being in anymore, where he was like, I recognize that I was kind of a struggle to work with in season 1, so it's okay. And then, Alaxx really like, didn't really like connect with too many of the members like in a really personal way as he did with like me and Nathan. We were probably the ones that he was closest to. So I think that was probably why, but that's just based on what I can remember right now.
Yeah.
Do you think we will ever see Iron Chef outtakes? You've mentioned this video a lot in the past. Do you think that'll ever be edited? I know that'll probably be a behemoth to edit, but...
I mean, I could send the footage to people, but I'm sure there's shit in there that can't be posted, so I don't know. I don't know, maybe... It's definitely like like once you're like in your mid-20s, you're kind of looking at your time on this earth, and you have to like schedule everything and really plan like what is efficient for me. And
Yeah.
I think I spent a lot of my time in college very much focused on Deep Sheep content because I thought it was important for me. And unfortunately, I did miss out on a lot of opportunities because I was so focused on that. I'm able to look at that now and realize I missed out on some opportunities. And so I'm trying to maximize my time now. And unfortunately, it's a mixture of, it wouldn't, it's not like the Iron Chef videos are going to blow up in views suddenly, which isn't really my goal anyway with Deep Sheep stuff. Deep Sheep stuff's basically over. It's that it would be a lot of work. And then do I want to do it? Like right now I'm in this weird spot, which I've only brought up with Camden, Connor, and Spencer a couple times recently, but I've really been considering it because I've tried to analyze the YouTube algorithm and also just how social media works. And I really think what works out is a single focus. Like I don't think variety YouTube channels work anymore because people don't look, average viewers don't look for a person as the brand yet. They're looking for a specific topic, and then eventually they get attached to the person that is attached to that topic. So with these Deep Sheep Plays Left 4 Dead videos, I fucking love them. And now what they represent, because fun fact, we almost didn't do a Dead Center. We almost didn't do it because Spencer was the main one who was like, yeah, I don't know, just like, I just don't really see the point. And like, I just, I don't really like being online that much anymore. He's kind of the one who's like, I don't really want to have an online presence too much anymore. He kind of is uncomfortable with it, and I get that. But I was able to show them, when I showed them what I had edited of Crash Course in person. We were all in person. This was right before the Daniel's wedding. Or wait, no, it was before then. What the when did we fucking watch that? I don't fucking know. Time's weird. Anyway, we watched it in person, and it was like an amazing viewing experience. We all were laughing our asses off. I didn't think it was that funny at first when I was editing it, but then we were watching it in person. I was like, holy shit, and it just revitalized. And I realized it's a time capsule. We've been doing these videos for so long that it shows how we've grown and changed over time, and it changed the meaning of it. And so anyway, back to my original point, I'm like a boomerang. I'll go way out, and then suddenly I come back. I'm considering making a Left 4 Dead YouTube channel and just uploading what I've already made with the Deep Sheep Plays Left 4 Dead and just rebranding it to something else that's more basic and not Deep Sheep because it's just the four of us basically. But just uploading Left 4 Dead stuff and just having a YouTube channel dedicated to Left 4 Dead because people still look up Left 4 Dead. It's over a decade old, but people like it and we like it. And it's like, if we can just make those videos every now and then, they don't have to worry about content creation, all that shit. Fuck that. I'm just editing because I like it. Then maybe down the line it kind of grows into something, and then it's like you found that balance of I enjoy doing this and it's good for me and it's good for money or whatever the fuck, because that's how life works. You know what I mean?
That's kind of interesting to me because I remember, and this also is in the Welcome to Skin Town video, because that video is interesting as well because it's like before Deep Sheep even had a name, and and it was just like, I'm just gonna make some videos on this world, like playing some games or whatever. And at the end of that video, you say something like, well, I think you're like, stay tuned for No 4 Liberation, and then you're like, I want to do this. I know some people will think it's weird, but like, I just want to do what I want to do on my channel. I don't want my channel to be one thing. And it's funny because back then you could do that, because there's certain videos or whatever that obviously whatever Nerf video you would make would perform better, but like Deep Sheep has hundreds of thousands of views, and like Hunger Games all have like hundreds of thousands of views, so it's like those didn't do like badly, it's just, I think the algorithm was just like, oh, a lot of people are watching this because he just uploaded it, so I'll just share it.
What I think happened, because back then it was a severe dip. It was. I think the market wasn't so oversaturated. YouTube, I'm sure the viewer base and user base of YouTube was 10% of what it is now back then. It was so much smaller, but it still felt huge because it was still millions of people. So with way less competition, it was easier to kind of get clicks. And then yeah, the algorithm took a bit to really start like just fucking me in my ass. So
yeah,
back then it was kind of like, oh yeah,
and that
people.
That also was Minecraft was more popular back then.
Yeah.
That's what sucks as well about
time.
season 2. Season 2 literally happened perfectly in that period right before it came back.
Before 2019 when it became super popular. By the way, when you're saying about like different channels, that makes me think of how Game Theory, when they started, they had like 7 different people doing all different kinds of videos. It wasn't just the theory videos. And then they eventually had to stop because that would kill their channel. Like, they were looking at the analytics that would just destroy. They had to completely get rid of all of that. Somebody gave me advice, like, when my first cartoon that got popular, they were like, you should probably make a gaming channel because otherwise it'll mess with your views. That is so true. I did not realize that. My gaming channel has thrived because it's its own thing. Because before, if you posted a gaming channel, then all of these like people who liked your cartoons would be like, "What is this shit? I don't want to look at this."
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah,
you have to separate things, unfortunately.
Because wasn't it also like after you uploaded which animation was it that got like fucking millions of views?
William Afton's Live.
Yeah, wasn't it like when that was uploaded for like the whole week? There was like the little fucking kids like asking where the next animation was coming.
Yeah.
What's funny about that cartoon? That is one of the weirdest things ever. That is a cartoon I deliberately sought out to make popular, and it actually worked. It is the only time that has ever happened. It's funny because when I uploaded it, it was getting no views. Nobody was watching it. And there's actually a speed art for a different cartoon. We're like, can you check out this video? It's getting no views. Which looks funny now because it's my most viewed video for me to say, to make sure to check out that video. But anyway, like 2 weeks go by, and then suddenly it starts blowing up. And it's like, where were you people like when this came out? It's very strange.
What happened was it got got picked up by someone, and then they're like, now everyone.
Yeah, you can plan for things to change, but most of the time change is slow. That's something I've accepted with my horror films, because now, over time, We're Not Safe Here's picked up. It passed Sweet Dreams, which when it first came out, I didn't expect that to fucking happen. The fact that Abby's Monster is about to hit 100,000.
I saw that today. That's crazy.
This is something I've been telling you.
When I first uploaded Abby's Monster, at a time when my channel was pretty fucking dead, you know, in the analytics, it'll show on the dashboard, this compared to your last 10 videos, where does it rank? Abby's Monster was like at 5th place for a few days, and I'm like, oh, wow. This was my big thing that I was planning. How the hell is this not #1? My channel's dead right now. And that was just where I was like, fuck this, I'm done. I spent $5,000 on this thing. It didn't pay off. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's picking up the pace, and I am in a place now where I'm making films to just become a real filmmaker. I gotta meet people, I gotta get out there, I gotta really do it. I can't make films expecting this one will be the one that hits big, and then the channel will be popular, and then I'll make horror films. No. I will just make horror films, because that is what I want to do. And I just hope the success comes with it.
We kind of have a video like that. It has a lot of fucking views.
Oh my god, no!
Called Demon Noise. It has 74,000 views for some reason, and it's literally a 3-second clip.
Hey, we can play it.
Lunar's podcast audio.
Actually, here's what it sounds like.
Soundboard it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's literally basically
5 seconds
This was, I think, the second podcast we ever did. Lunar sent the audio, and the audio just got fucking corrupted or something, and so MT opened it up in Audacity, and it just, like, jarbled everything together, and we're like, this is funny. And then when our channel got deleted, and we made a new one, we were like, we'll put this up, and then randomly, and the reason why, it shows up in the sidebar of this video called, like, Demon Monster Sound Effect or something like that has, like, 3.5 million views. So this just shows up, and it has the exact same thumbnail as that video because it's a generic demon picture. And so it just has gotten 70,000. It's always weird what gets views because also
that reminds me actually.
That fucking generic. I've seen someone with that generic demon tattoo, and I was like,
he's got a Demon Noise tattoo. He's our biggest fan. But like it's just always weird what gets views. Cause I remember also we did a podcast. I wasn't even in it, but it was like there was just one story about like MT watching the Steven Universe movie on Pornhub because that was the only place you could find it.
Yes, and, that's another one. I remember,
and we named it. We like the title and thumbnail has like it's like Steven Universe porn, and like that's what it was.
That's gonna get. Oh, you're gonna get clicks from the wrong audience.
Yeah, we unlisted it the day it came out because the day it came out it was overpassing everything. we don't want this to be our most viewed video, so we just.
We don't want to be known for the Steven Universe porn podcast. We don't want that to be our most famous thing.
This fucking shit up on
and we unlisted it. We republicized it like a year and a half later, and it immediately like shot over 1,000 views.
We mentioned views. I have to point this out. I meant to bring it up earlier. Chris, in your first Chris podcast, you said if this is not our most viewed podcast, I will quit YouTube. I know you've been enjoying coming back, but now that Steven Universe podcast porn has passed your first podcast, you
now you have to quit YouTube again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You made a promise.
Okay, I'll do it. I don't care.
Now you have to delete your whole channel.
I'm telling you, of all the things that I'm most afraid in my life, number one is my entire apartment burning down and just losing everything.
That would be bad. Yeah.
Losing my YouTube channel's up there because that's
have
like
you ever thought about like
like,
making an archive like of that and like the deep sheep like on like physical things like I was thinking about that. I think we talked about that the other day. Is like what I would do is I would have like all the videos and then have all the thumbnails and like the titles and descriptions on like text files just all in these hard drives like hidden away.
I tell everyone. I've told Deep Sheep members this even back in the day whenever they wanted like delete stuff because they don't like it or they don't think it matters or whatever. I'm like, don't delete shit because back in the day when I was making the Nerf videos, Nerf 4s, all that shit, I was doing it on tapes because it wasn't digital, and so when I would run out on a tape, I would just film over it. So every piece of footage from those original Nerf videos does not exist anymore. It's gone.
Oh, wow.
And, you don't realize how important something is to you until a time later. And then you're like, wait, I wish I had that, but I deleted it.
I want to know more about what was going on in that thing.
I tell everyone that. If you are embarrassed of a video, just private it. Don't delete it. Yes. For God's sake, I hate when people do that. I've had friends that have done that. It drives me crazy. Also, speaking from experience, because my original channel did get deleted, that sucks. That is so much of my childhood gone. I will never get that back.
Deletion is like a digital death.
Yeah.
Like I also that also reminds me of we have this policy, and it works out like from when we did like Wheat Sanctuary, our fan series or whatever. Like there was a recent thing, like I was just on our world or whatever, and we have like a winter wall like you guys do, on your thing. And like I remember I watched Fudge Pants Corner recently or something. I was like, oh, I forgot they had those signs that was like hosted and posted for all those, and I was like, I'll do that for ours. And so I was tracking down fucking years later, like when we recorded all those things. And like I was like, then I realized like for Deadliest Catch, our first ever episode that we did, we still have all of the footage and audio for it. Like, and it's like that's something we've always said. It's like even if a recording gets scrapped or something, always upload your footage to because we have a second channel where we just upload everything as unlisted. And it's just like always upload it, like just to have,
This is my last question, then we can keep moving on. We really got to get through these questions faster. Sean. He isn't. Yeah, rest in peace. He hasn't showed up in your guys' videos for a while. Like, can you tell us what happened? Like, did you just drift away as friends or what?
I mean, he was the biggest friend of ours that was purely through Xbox. So the older we all got, the less time we spent on Xbox Live, the less time we would get online just to play and hang out with other people. Instead, it was, hey, Camden, Spencer, do you want to hop on and play something? It wasn't, I'm just going to hop on and see who's online. Those days are gone. It was around like when the Xbox One came out, just the vibe shifted. 360 was the days of like, let's see who's online. Oh, Jiggly's online, invite him. And then, hey, Sean, and then, so that's just kind of what happened, I think. We were only really friends through that, and then when he was in videos, he was really good in the videos, and we just vibed with him more. But it's just something that kind of drifted away.
I'm curious because in the original Storm the Castle, before like Deep Sheep Season 1 came out, he's in that. Do you remember playing any other Deep Sheep games with him, like play testing them or anything?
Probably. Storm the Castle was just like one of those, like, I was hosting a Minecraft game and I was like, hey guys, I just built a new game, let's all play it. And Jiggly happened to be online at the time. That was like before the Deep Sheep crew was assembled. And then it's like you have just the group that you would contact and text beforehand or whatever.
And like something I think we talked about this recently when we were writing down and thinking of questions for this podcast or whatever is like in that period when Alaxx and Robbie were kicked out or whatever, because like we were saying, like that's a big loss, you know, from videos. That's like a whole big energy provider, and like, you know, we were like, I wonder if they considered adding Sean at that time. Like,
we always were like saying Sean was like the unofficial, you know, member in a way, or we were always kind of like thinking, oh, we could maybe bring Sean in there. But
so I remember that was the thing when Fudge Pants Corner came out and like Connor showed up, and for a lot of people, because a lot of people just came back to Deep Sheep for season 2, you know, a lot of people were like, what the fuck, who is this? And I had that famous comment of, holy shit, get fucking rid of Connor, which I've rescinded, that's good.
Famously rescinded.
I like went back a couple months ago, I think, and I like edited it, and I was like, he's not that bad. But yeah, no, I remember like that was a big thing people were commenting, was like, why didn't you get Sean? Why didn't you get Sean? And it's just like,
didn't you say somewhere that he said no? Like you asked him for season 2 and he said no? There was some point where
there was some comment I think that Camden said where it was like, Sean's busy doing his own thing, is what it said.
Like Sean was just never involved in videos, really. It was just at rare times he was available and we wanted him to be in a video because we needed someone, and if we needed someone we would go to him, because otherwise we would have gone to the Deep Sheep members. And that's just kind of,
and that's crazy too as well, because he is definitely like, he was the newcomer in Hunger Games 3, and he is like the star of that video.
I love him in that, and he doesn't even have a perspective. So that's
he
wild.
didn't even record his footage, but he's like,
just got a great
the
personality. Like it was in Ultimate Minecraft Champion, filming his speeches.
Mama's
mama.
He's just a funny guy. He's a great performer.
Yeah, the greased up.
He was
monkey
great.
spanker. That's something I love. Is you? I think you said this in one of the 2021 late nights or whatever. But like, when you guys do the greased up monkey spanker thing in Trouble in Skin Town, it's like that. It was like a big payoff moment, because you were saying like, when people watch these videos for years, we have these references that go back for years that always come back, and like it was like, I remember when Trouble in Skin Town came out and you said that, I was like, fuck yeah, Sean. Fuck yeah. Like, and
it's so funny because the best part about those references for us is like, I didn't say Grease Up Monkey Spanker thinking, oh, people will laugh that I'm referencing Sean. That's just how I see the skin. The skin is that to me. I don't know what its actual name is. It's Greased Up Monkey Spanker. Because also at that moment I'm about to be fucking killed. Wouldn't it be easier for me to call out Sean or something easier? Instead I go Greased Up Monkey Spanker. It's like such a long thing. Like, but that's what it is to me. So
Sean is just like this character in like a series or movies that is just always in like the background character, or like just shows up for like a couple minutes and then leaves, but everyone loves him.
Yeah,
everyone fucking loves him.
Like he was great.
He was awesome.
Look, it's time for your questions.
Oh, it's time for my questions. Okay.
I pray that you try to get through this quickly.
We already got answer. Well, I guess I can ask this even though we kind of brushed on it. Is what's the current status of the next Deep Sheep Left 4 Dead plays?
Well, it's gonna be the passing. Because I want to go in order. Well, I want to go slightly in order. Because I want to bounce around doing the shorter DLC campaigns in the middle. I don't want to like. I want the parish to be the last one. Because the bridge run's the best.
You don't want the sacrifice to be the last one. Like,
we're gearing up, because I was asking them about that, and that's when I brought up making the channel, the Left 4 Dead channel, and. Camden and Connor were saying like, actually, it was like a couple days ago. We were kind of thinking like, it might be around time to kind of find another one. You know?
Something else I'm curious about is, you mentioned this in that video that you made, that random video where it was like how you make thumbnails, and it was like like how you making the Left 4 Dead Blood Harvest thumbnail and changing the thumbnail format for it. Which still is an amazing thumbnail format, the current one. And
I like it.
You pointed out, and I remember thinking before I watched that video, what is he gonna do for Dark Carnival? And then in that video, you were like, Dark Carnival pisses me off because it's different, and it's just like, what are you gonna do for that? Like,
I just squish shit down, move text around, fit most of the poster, and there you go.
I
can send you the thumbnail.
Why did they do that? Like, why did they make it so
I don't know.
It's a massive departure from all of them.
Well,
because
when you play Dark
Carnival, to look like movie posters, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Movie posters are not widescreen.
I know that I don't know. Dark Carnival always kind of felt like the star of Left 4 Dead 2 campaigns. Kind of felt like they put their most bang for their buck.
It has the craziest finale, probably.
Yeah, so maybe
it's my
that's
favorite
why.
finale out of all of them.
Maybe that's why they have the poster different.
It's
for
like,
some
look,
reason,
this is the premiere campaign.
But okay, all right. Let me ask you guys what you think. With the Left 4 Dead channel, the name that I thought of that I'm thinking maybe going by is Tank Bros. And the name, the profile picture is a Left 4 Dead tank, but he's got like a gold chain and a backwards cap, and he's got shades on. So he's a tank bro.
I think that's perfect.
Tank Bros.
Yeah. Would there be a little intro?
Here's the fun thing.
The what?
You could always call it Tank Bros.
Huh?
You really just never want to fuck with it.
Tank Bros?
Tank Bros.
Tank
Bros.
Do you guys have an intro in mind?
Huh?
Do you have like a little intro in mind where it shows a little logo and then video starts?
I haven't thought of anything yet. It's literally just like Tank Bros, and then the tank looks like a bro. That's all I got.
Real quick, Dane, can you turn your camera back on, or did something happen?
Sorry, I've been having technical difficulties this whole podcast.
You sound like you're in the middle of a storm. Like you're like, sorry. Like
that happened in 3 and 2, not with Dane. It was me and Lunar. We both have a part where we sound like we're in a void or something.
My next question. So I noticed this. I don't know if any other person would have found this website. There is I think we talked about it in the last Chris podcast. Is a clip from your video about the Master Chief Collection where you were yelling at it was in Kroby Cat's video. Of Remember Halo.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and I remember I was like, I've never watched that video, like, of you yelling about the Master Chief Collection, and I was like, oh, it's Walt Daniel streaming, that's cool, and then I watched it, and in the comments, someone was like, yo, they were like asking a question or whatever, and you're like, oh, like, I guess you just didn't want to answer. You're like, oh, you can find that on trueachievements.com. And I was like, what is trueachievements.com?
Oh, I love that site.
And I was like, what is this? And then I was like, oh, fuck, you can kind of see, like, a lot of information on that, because, like, if you look at someone's page, it also shows what achievements their friends have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a really cool website, and, I went to clips, and I actually knew that you guys had filmed Dead Center before it had happened.
So you're one of the people who's watching clips of the gamer DVR. There's a few on there that have like 80 views, and all of us are like, who the fuck is watching these?
It's me.
It's been 80 times.
And
so
that's
there's
why
a clip.
This freak right here.
There's a clip of Left 4 Dead No Mercy that I think hopefully is still on my gamer DVR. I recorded it. It is our favorite gaming moment that wasn't part of a video, but I recorded the clip. We're playing No Mercy finale expert, and I have the shotgun, and we're all in like the little closet area held up, and Camden wasn't doing anything. He was just hiding because he's the worst of us. And he's in the corner, and I'm like, blam, blam, blam. I go to reload, and you see like zombies coming up, maybe a tank, I forget. But Camden just so happens to walk right in front of me as I go to blast. I shoot, trying to miss him, and accidentally hit him. And then I try to move and shoot again and accidentally hit him again. And in expert mode, that means he's dead. I shot him and incapacitated him and then killed him. And it happens in half a second. It's so fast. He just, he just blips out of reality. This was a few years ago, but he blips out of reality. That clip alone is fucking hilarious. You have to show that clip in this. Like, we love watching that clip.
When I was going through there, because like every now and again I'll be like, I'll just check True Achievements. Like it's almost like I remember when I found it, there was an achievement you had gotten like the day before, and I was like, oh, okay, they're still playing games together. Like, I was like, it's not totally
it's not
dead.
Jover.
Yeah, it's not Jover, and and then I noticed recently I looked at it and I was like, my fucking AirPods are dead. But fucking
very cool.
I was looking at it and I was like, oh shit, Chris is playing Minecraft, and then I was like, oh, Chris and Keaton are playing Minecraft, and then in their I don't know if it was in the final cut, but in their reaction, Connor and Camden are talking about season 3, and like they're like, oh, Chris and Keaton, if Keaton was in it, would probably do the best because they're playing Minecraft a lot. And I was like, I fucking knew that. Like, and
you're an insider.
Yeah. But I'm probably echoing like hell. Right
Yeah, we're playing survival for a bit. Playing survival Minecraft. It's been a long time. So it's crazy how many new shit is in Minecraft. I didn't know there was bees.
Yeah.
Apparently there's been bees forever. I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's been bees for a bit.
Foxes are cool. I love the foxes. I love the
Oh,
turtles,
yes.
the dolphins. Yeah, there's so much new shit that I'd never seen before. Panda bears, they're so cute.
Yeah, those are
Some
Lay on their
There
backs.
When they added those, I was summoning the brown ones because like there's brown pandas that are super rare or something, and it summoned 1,000, and we were in a call with a friend. It was like, they're so cool, they're so cute, and then I used a command that killed every single one in 1 second, and they started like dying of a heart attack of sadness or something because I had murdered the brown bears. I really wish they would add grizzly bears, and you could breed polar bears and grizzly bears
I'm
to make
confused because I don't know. When I think of bear, I think of a grizzly bear.
Exactly.
I mean, the panda was because they did
Pandas I don't even think of as
a
bears.
mob vote is what they did
They
for like
voted for the
animals. You could like animals that are like kind of native to China, and the panda bear was the most voted one. Like there was one for like a golden monkey or something. Those little small monkeys was one,
I love
and then
monkeys.
like crocodiles and alligators was one.
Those
and-
are so cool.
Yeah, that's a fucking animal I want in the game.
There's something-
it's
Yo,
like
What
crocodiles.
if a fucking giraffe just shows up?
There is actually I saw something years ago about this. There is like some file, like there's something hidden in the files of the game that is like about a grizzly bear. So like they've thought about it. Like it's just not.
There is
it's like how
animals in the
Silverfish,
game
they had
now.
texture files in updates that was like way before they added them. Okay, this is actually one of the main questions that I wanted to know about for this podcast. And this is about the Season 3 unused games. So, like I said, in that unused thing, I have that recording of Spencer in fan chat and Deep Sheep telling us about the games. Whenever he told us about Mario Party, he said that it was like... He said Mario Party is a game that was originally going to be in Season 2, but was cut out at the last minute. I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I assumed that it was replaced. It was supposed to be the penultimate board game. Like, I assume it was replaced with Defend and Conquer. And considering how you guys have talked about before, how, like, you kind of, like, Camden a lot has said, like, you kind of wished that we knew Defend and Conquer was going to be like that, where there's an ending before there's an ending. Like, do you think you regret, especially considering how, like, much you guys have talked about wanting to play Mario Party, do you think you, like, regret swapping it out for Defend and Conquer? Like,
I don't know. Not really. Like, I don't know. I try not to even feel regret for things. It's like, everything's just a learning lesson. I don't remember why we didn't do Mario Party. I don't remember it almost being in Season 2. I'm assuming what happened was maybe we still kind of hoped we would eventually do a Season 3. And with Mario Party, we had Season 3 games that would be the mini games included as well. And also Mario Party is like the ultimate of collecting everything together into one game somehow. Defend and Conquer was like a prelude to that, where it's the map and we fight in the territories. So it might have just been a thing where it's like, well, maybe not Mario Party yet. And also, even though Defend and Conquer was a clusterfuck for sure, I still kind of think Mario Party would have been a clusterfuck to film. So it just, because think about all the rules that have to be remembered. I mean, just imagine Mario Party. All that shit is not automated for Minecraft. You have to keep track of that. So have someone in there to keep track of it. And then whenever you land on something, you got to go fly over to that area of the map and then do that mini game, which could take some time or whatever. Like, it's a lot. That is gonna be or would be a very long game to film. But also Defend and Conquer was long to film,
and then also a very long game to like edit and make appealing. As well.
The classic.
There would be
specific.
There would be so much
like
fat.
you'd have to try and like make stock certain things so that you could repeat it a bunch of times. That's how.
That's the struggle with those complicated games, because you lose energy when you're filming them. You know, you can cut out all the fat, but eventually you get tired, and it's like it's hard to like, especially Defend and Conquer. The biggest problem with Defend and Conquer is it's like that game kind of moves a little slow. It's sort of like, I lost a battle. I'm probably gonna keep losing now. All right, it's just a slow death. You know, it's hard
I mean,
to come
you
back.
could really see that game was made by Nathan, because of because Nathan was it not made by Nathan?
He was the
you.
dungeon master that he
We
was
had
just the
Nathan
guy
hosting.
keeping track of everything.
But there are no
hosting.
classes in it.
Shut
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, that's
I thought that
a
was
joke.
made by Nathan. Huh.
Wow, Del,
Interesting.
that was a crazy reference there. That was just a joke we made about, I think when Cover Fire came out, we just made this joke where it was like, Chris just always puts classes into his games. Because it was like, the classes of the people on the bottom really didn't matter at all.
Whenever we would make
classes like the different roles that you play, like you're the warrior, you're the archer.
whenever we would play Cover Fire,
or whatever,
Yeah, I love that, and the reason I love that is because then it challenges the player to adapt to a restriction. So it's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be the archer. All right, time to be a good archer. I can't just rely on using whatever I'm used to. So I like that. I think it's fun.
Dell has a
certain
fucking
thing we
boner for
should-
classes. Honestly,
there's
Like,
a
this
certain
motherfucker
thing we
makes
should
classes for
mention after
everything.
the podcast.
Shut up.
regarding
I
that.
don't do that. No, I do.
Where were we?
So I somewhat recently, Dell had built the game on our world a long time ago, and my camera's frozen in a really amazing frame, and
So
it's
fucking fried, man.
All right, let me look at my questions because I only have a couple left. Let's see. Oh, so in the last podcast, and I don't know if you ever saw the video that I made for this because it was also on the Deep Sheep anniversary, and that was when MT made his video. But you talked about potentially porting the Deep Sheep world over to PC so people could download it and play on it or whatever. And you said you were like, okay, if it's easy, I can do it. I'll probably need help. I made this video for the Deep Sheep 10-year anniversary, and it came out then. I was like, okay, how the fuck would we do that? It was this whole thing, and in the video, actually, I was like, yeah, I don't know, but now I have figured out how to do it, and it's like you could do it for free, it's a thing, but the thing is you would need at least one step in the process, someone to have like a Windows computer. Which I don't know if you do, so that would be like if you just knew someone you trusted to like log in one time to your Xbox account.
There's a couple Deep Sheep members that use Windows computers.
I
was able to transfer recently the world onto the cross-compatible.
Then you can just
did it not fuck it this time?
This time it didn't fuck it. I don't know why I fucked it the first time.
I remember
but
that
time.
was my thing. Was
It's
like,
still
okay,
the world
we
is
can't
still
do that.
bigger though. Like I think the borders are slightly extended for no reason, but everything that's important is there. So
that's okay. That makes it a lot easier. Then that makes it extremely easier because it's like how you do it is you have a copy of that cross-compatible version on the computer. And you make a realm which is free, like you can get a free trial. And what's great about that free trial is you can export over as many worlds as you want. Because I know you said you had a lot of different Deep Sheep saves, which leads into my question.
Yeah.
Do you also have the Hunger Games world still?
Those were 360 only. I don't think
you don't
I might
think
have
you ever
transferred some to the Xbox One edition. I forget. I do. I know that back then I kept extra shit on little thumb drives because I would run out of space on my 360 hard drive.
Yeah.
And I know I have those thumb drives in a baggie somewhere in my apartment. So theoretically, we could find them.
Journey from Xbox all the way over, but
the whole thing. I mean, I got Hunger Games 1, 2, 3. A version of 4 that was pretty well built into it. That was a lava world, fire world. That was awesome. I think I fucked around with the 5th one, which was supposed to be Apocalypse, which is essentially the whole world after the Armageddon where everything burned down. So then the 5th world is everything's just destroyed. It's just decimation.
Yeah.
And then the 6th world is the first world again, but all of like the landmark things that happened or the graves where people died has been added into it. So it's like back to the beginning
Full
sort of
circle.
thing. That was like that was like the fun
a-
idea that I had when I was like, I want the Hunger Games maps to kind of change over time. It'll be like a little story because I have to do that with every fucking thing.
But
wait. That reminded me.
I want to quickly just say, in my brain, like the thought process went like, oh, it sounds like you're trying to port forward all the Hunger Games mechs, like your Pokemon from like Gen 3 to all the way up to the current generation. Yeah. People do that. And it's nuts.
That reminded me something that Matthew had discovered was that in some of the videos, the seeds of the worlds are shown.
Yes.
You can, if you load the PC version of that version, like, they're numbered differently, but like if you take the year it came out and try to like be like, okay, it was around this time,
what version
it's
was
the exact same generation. So Matthew generated the Deep Sea world with no world limit, like it extended, which is really interesting to see. But when we filmed Dodgeball, you guys seemed impressed with our Skin Town, even though it's shit. It's not even close at all. The
I think
skins
it was
are.
like an hour.
I built it. Yeah, I just built it for fun a while ago, just to make a small version of it, because they're smaller than everybody else's. They're like small scale skins. But the point is, then we were like, I kind of wish we would have tried to make it block for block accurate, like Skin Town, just to make the video even more interesting.
Because and that's another thing in the video I did for the 10-year anniversary. I didn't figure out how to get the Deep Sheep worlds in that video, but I did. With an emulator, emulated Xbox 360 edition, and I found the seed of the Deep Sheep world, and I found the version it was on, which I had to do some fucking detective work for that. I was like, okay, the Ultimate Minecraft trailer came out like this month. That was when he made the trailer for Ultimate Minecraft Champion, and that version was this, so it was probably this, and it was. And like, also, I'm pretty sure Porkers. I found the Porkers on that world, because when you load in the world, right there where Camden's bottom is, there's a pig just swimming.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. But also, there was stuff that I never realized, that the fact that I just never thought about it, and it's like, well, of course, is that like a lot of the biomes are fake. You know, like like your biome was not really a forest, and like there was a massive pile of sand where Skin Town was, and you guys. Like, literally, I was using, like, some commands and stuff to try and clear it out and stuff, and I was like, they had to do this by hand. Like, that probably took so long. And you can see it in the Mob Hunt Lost episode.
You have no
your
idea.
Skin is, like, half built and stuff.
The amount of work to create the Hunger Games 3 world.
Yeah. Just every snow block placed by hand.
I remember
every tree replaced with the pine tree or spruce, like, just... ice. Every water block is ice.
Yeah, in the Why There Won't Be a Season 3 podcast, you talk about that, and you were like, I wasted my life.
A little bit. And that's the other thing that keeps happening, where it's like, I can't look back at things and regret any of it, or say that was a waste of my time, because then I'm accepting that there's nothing to learn from it. Everything that happens is a learning experience. So, okay, I have learned now to evaluate when something is worth my time,
worth the work.
Worth the work.
And eventually I figured that out. I also got the Hunger Games seed and figured out the version of that that was generated on, and I got the raw versions of the Hunger Games in Deep Sheep World. I got to PC and got it to where people can like download it and stuff, which was really cool.
Look, we you got me. We stopped doing this. We gave up. You loaded that world, the raw Hunger Games world. You're like, this is where the spawn is, and then we realized that it wasn't naturally flat, so we were trying to make it like the video. That is impossible, because like you have to scrub through so much footage to get every angle.
So bad.
Every tiny, we'd be like, okay, there's a rose over there.
Yeah,
I can kind of see it in the distance, like 3 pixels over there.
We're
like, why are we doing this? Like, this is stupid. Also, I want to point out, or at least me and Luck, I can't speak for everyone, we adore Hunger Games 3. Like, we think that video is incredible. There's just so many... It's ridiculous how many quotable things are there. Like
I can quote that whole video.
Yeah, everything is up for grabs except for wood and stone.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
we quote that too.
The one that's
also
recently
Sean
popped
quote.
up. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The one that recently popped up, it's whenever Sean accidentally murders Nathan with a creeper. And he's like, I was going to lead him to stone to blow it up. And then he blew it up. Like, just the way he says is so iconic. I love Hunger Games 3.
No, when I made Hunger Games 3, I was like, this is some goated shit right now. I'm proud.
That was also the first time, at least, that you've said, like, you guys it was like almost like a precursor to like the season 2 type content, because it was like you refilmed it from a certain point. Robbie's footage is fake after a certain point. And yeah, there's stuff like that. And like also Daniel like threw that fight with Spencer in it. And but yeah, no, those Raw Worlds are there, and like it was that was weird to fly around or whatever. And that was when I realized, and I was gonna ask you about this because I talked about it in my video, but like there was an update that happened around the time that you guys filmed Musical Squares that like changed a part of your world to where it was snowy when it wasn't before.
Yep.
And like Jailbreakers wasn't originally snowy, that area. Like the island that Mount Olympus on is like snowy now, and it's like that whole forest from like where you're kind of at Defend and Conquer all the way up to Crosswind, that whole forest is snowy, and it's just like that's so weird that it just like totally fucked it. But because of that, you can actually see that Musical Squares, for whatever reason, was filmed before or like it was filmed I forget the order, but it's like Who Gets Fudge Pants is episode 7. And it's not snowy, but in Musical Squares, it is snowy. So Musical Squares was filmed after Who Gets Fudge Pants, which came out later. I
remember that. What was funny, recently we figured out the timeline of the first half of season 2, because in the first night that we filmed, Nathan at the time couldn't film where he was at, so he stayed in a hotel so we could film episodes. And that version of Mob Hunt that we did that night ended up being scrapped. So Mini Golf is actually chronologically the first one that was filmed. And you can tell because of the wool color, it's different.
Yeah, it's just weird how stuff like that ends up happening. But let me see. I think I had one more question. Okay, these are two kind of ranking questions, and you can be quick. I guess give your top 3s or whatever. Your favorite short films and / horror short films. I don't know if you put those in separate categories. And then 3 favorite Deep Sheep short films that you guys did.
Fuck, I could have sworn I had a document with all this shit. I love my ranking shit.
We know. You made a whole channel. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Fucking Game of Thrones piece of shit ruins everything.
Oh yeah. Hey, House of the Dragon, it's great. You know, next season's coming out. Like very excited. Who here knows the Dance of Dragons story already?
Me. I've read the book.
Me.
Yeah. So, like, what's so fucking cool about House of the Dragon is all the cool shit hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Like, that was, like, such a small part of the story that they did in the first season. Like, and it was great. That 8th episode or whatever... like that was like, even if you take into account like Game of Thrones with it, like that's one of the best episodes of the whole franchise. Like it was fantastic.
The entire story of King Viserys is so incredible in that episode. Just like
it's amazing.
It's his episode. It's so special. Dude. Okay, here we go. I found him. Okay, so horror films. I would probably put We're Not Safe Here as number 1. I think it's my best one, but I mean The Noise Next Door is gonna beat it easily. After that, I don't know. The problem with Sweet Dreams is that it is just too fucking dark, so it's hard to see. But I think it's the most effective at being freaky and scary.
It is very scary.
I mean, I would say my 3 favorite horror films I've done were the last 3 that I did. We're Not Safe Here would be number 1, and then probably Abby's Monster Next, then Sweet Dreams. So that'd be my top 3 for horror. Deep Sheep, shorts, Bro Wars is number 1.
Classic.
Easily. Love Bro Wars. Then probably Pizza Fight, and then Driving Instructor Camden, maybe.
Wow.
Or Please Leave a Message. Those 4 are my favorite.
I know that I think we ranked them, and it's interesting to see the differences. I'm pretty sure I think it's probably, at least for me, because it's like the lost potential of Driving Instructor Camden, you know? Yeah. Like, because it ended up being fucked or whatever. And so it's like, I feel like we kind of have that lower. But I know my favorite is Catching Some Z's. That's a really good one.
That one's a cute one. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, easily the worst one is Apple Juice. Easily.
That's what we always
say. He tells the truth.
That shit's
We've always said we hate that
Finding
one.
Nathan, I always just watch the blooper videos for those.
Yeah. Finding Nathan, the bloopers is funnier. It's such good bloopers.
Yeah, the bloopers for Apple Juice, I just love that one part where, like, someone gets a line wrong and Camden just slams his head on the table. Like, and then also, like, the Bro Wars bloopers are hilarious. Like, that segment where Connor's trying not to cuss kills me every time.
Oh,
like,
for me, it's when Daniel's slipping. He's like, shit.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
I just love how Connor cannot like go a sentence without saying fuck. Like
Yeah.
he's like,
Apple,
dude, I'm gonna have fun with her later.
yeah. Apple Juice. I always laugh when I think about that short because the filming experience was fucking hilarious, but then the actual result is garbage. But Camden drank so much apple juice filming that short. I laugh every time I think about this.
Eating food or drinking something is always, you were going to be doing it like 15 times.
Yep, and he had to do it 15 times. He drank like half a jug of apple juice. He's not even that big of a fan of apple juice to begin with. And I just know that after we were done with the short a few hours later, he was in and out of the bathroom for like 24 hours just shitting constantly. He would come out of the bathroom. He would come out of the bathroom like, yeah, let's see apple juice.
Oh god,
Cursed by apples.
I've been shitting hard as fuck, but I've been powering through it.
That's the same trip with or no, it was that was a different trip. That was way later. My favorite Camden quote is that this pizza's hard as fuck, but I've been powering through it. That is oh my god.
That's another thing as well, like evolution over time. Like that story of like the cops fucking up training wheels and stuff like that is like we got that so as fans like so incrementally over the course of years. I think the first mention of it is in your video. It was the first like birthday video you did, like that just like I'm this, you know. It was 20. It was when you turned 20. You said like I met Connor. We filmed something and something kind of crazy happened, and I think I'll make a separate video talking about that because it's actually kind of serious. And it's like what is it? And then in the podcast where you guys talk about it, because the whole story of the pizza's hot as fuck is that, you know, Camden had to go home because his dad was mad at him because of that. And like you go like, yeah, there is some stuff that, you know, we're all kind of stressed out and like kind of mad about it, and you know we can't get into it. It's like too serious.
Oh man, your mic really cut out there.
Your mic really.
I know what he said though. I figured it out.
And it was
no, his mic has been cutting out every now and then, but I'm able to like understand what he's saying. This time though, it was cut out for like 5 whole seconds.
This goddamn phone. Yeah. Dude,
what he was saying was that you were explaining the story of like him, the quote, like the thing with the pizza, but you say like, yeah, we were already upset because I'm bullshit before. Like you don't clarify what it is yet, and like over time you guys mentioned it more and more, and then eventually like you just did that podcast where you explained like that. Yeah, we had this bullshit with police.
Which podcast is that again?
I don't remember.
It's the behind the scenes first one. It's the first behind the scenes late night.
Okay.
Bringing up these horror shorts, by the way, it actually would make me want to ask a question. Regarding Sleep Dreams, that sucks because of YouTube compression. Does it look good at like film festivals? Like,
in general, I think the first half of the film is just too dark. The way it was colored, I think it just. You need really specific circumstances to actually be able to see the detail that is in the background. But the second half works pretty well. It's a little bit brighter, and in general, people are able to see it. I think it does look better in other circumstances. YouTube does fuck up compression of the darks, so you know it just happens. But
like I think the fucking Game of Thrones season 8 shit.
In when we filmed Bitches 3, The Curse of Bitchmas Past, or no, sorry, A Bitchmas Carol. I had edited. I wanted this cool effect where it's this dark dimension with blue lighting, and when I edited it, it looked amazing. But then when we put it on YouTube, and it's like, oh man, it blurred everything and like crunched everything. This looks like crap. It also made the audio sound worse. YouTube is bad with this compression, but yeah. Is it time for Dane's questions?
That's all of my questions.
Dane, are you here?
Yes, I am still here. I've not been talking very much. I've been letting you guys take the reins.
It is your turn, or is it? I don't know whose turn it is.
It is his turn.
It's
your turn. The doc.
Our questionnaire.
Me, Dane, and Emmett are the only people who wrote questions. So.
Okay, I was gonna say
Egg has two. Dell has two.
Questions.
You liar. This is inaccurate. They have.
Okay, fuck you. I wasn't looking at the doc. Okay, fuck you. Fuck you.
To be fair, they've added.
Fuck you.
I saw earlier, by the way, Egg, your face got lit up with a bright light, and I was like, what was that? And then I see there's questions being added to the doc, and I'm like, oh, that's what he's doing.
Yeah, earlier...
Dane, questions!
Earlier, before anybody joined the voice chat, like before anybody was on, I was just looking at the document because I'd sent it in WeChat so that everyone could see it, and I was looking at it, and then I saw Dane and Egg were in it, and I was like, oh fuck, like they're in this document, and Dane was writing stuff, so I just wrote, hey slut. And he just
I was in the document just looking at all the questions people were putting in, and then Dane just put like, Egg needs to get his fucking ass in this fucking chat over here. And I just said, like, eat my ass, cunts. That's what I said.
He needs to get his fucking ass in the fucking chat.
Wait, you see, he was on the top section where the previous like amount of questions for the last couple of podcasts were at, so I thought he was still putting it there.
No.
Oh, do you remember when... Is this what you just said? Sorry, I zoned out for a second. But I remember there was that time... What was it? Was it Lunar? Somebody, when the last podcast, we were writing down questions. Somebody just put it in the middle of somebody else's questions. They put their questions.
that was Lunar.
Lunar put it in the middle of Zach's questions. He just picked a spot and started typing. Also, I want to point out when we made the new questions for this doc, I wrote out Chris Podcast 4, and Loke was like, that needs to be big. It needs to be big and bold so people know this is the section. And then I made it so big it filled up like 27 pages. But yeah, Dane, please. It's all you.
Alright, so for my first question, we kind of discussed it earlier because you had mentioned you were in like a cycle with 4 different game genres that you were playing. But besides those 4, has there been any other like pieces of media that you've kind of been like enjoying recently, whether it's like games, movies, or just like TV shows, or even music or anything? Any of those genres.
So I go in a constant loop. I will go on TV show binges. Usually it's like a TV show I get fucking addicted to. The last TV show that I got addicted to was probably Succession. Succession's top like 3 shows of all time for me. I love Succession. So I'll go into TV mode for a little bit. Then I will either go in a movie mode or a gaming mode. It's just like a weird cycle for me. I'll get addicted to like that. Lately, I think I've been finding a good balance though, where it's like Keaton and I, we were playing Minecraft for a bit. We also have been playing Halo lately. I replayed all of the campaigns on Legendary Solo because I'd never beaten Halo 2 on Legendary Solo, which is the hardest one. And so I was like, I'm going to play Halo 2 Legendary Solo. Yeah. And I got my ass fucked, but it was fun. And so then I played all the Halos in Legendary Solo. And then Keaton went to play them on Legendary. He's not a Halo guy like me, so he made it like 2 missions in a Halo Combat Evolved. He's like, nah, I don't like this. And I'm like, then I'll play with you. And we've been beating all of them on Legendary. And now we're on Halo. We're about to beat ODST, and we've been adding in Camden or Spencer or Connor or another guy that I've met who was a Deep Sheep fan. His name's Brian. He's also been joining us. So we've been playing the 4-player stuff, and it's like that's like the little fun thing I do every now and then. It's kind of just like play Halo. And then, and then it's either that. And then music, I'm always kind of listening to music no matter what. But I'll go through phases where I discover a new artist or I'll revisit an artist that I loved and I'll just binge their shit a billion times over. Does anyone know Last FM?
No.
Last FM.
Oh, wait, yeah, I do.
Them, but
I do.
I'm not.
Last FM is great. If you love music and you want to keep track of all the shit, basically... This podcast sponsored by Last FM. So this right here,
it's so blurry.
Camera. God damn it! What the hell, man?
Motherfucker camera.
So this shows the last. Is it flipped?
No, I can read it. It's flipped for you. It's flipped for you, not for us.
It shows a list of like the artists that I listened to for the past 7 days, and a Scrabble is a listen. If anyone ever watched Funhouse back in the day, they discovered Last FM, and Scrabbles became a whole meme for a bit. But it's actually a real thing. And basically, it keeps track of the albums that you've listened to and how many Scrabbles you have, and you can check it instead of last 7 days. You can set it to all time, so you actually, and it connects to Spotify, so you're able to track how many Scrabbles you have for an artist like forever, as long as you have Last FM. And you can check like see more, and it just shows load. And then and then it shows all of the artists and all the Scrabbles you have. So it's like really fun to keep track of that shit, where it's like, damn, I didn't realize that like Blink-182 just like surpassed everything. It has like almost 1,000 more than my second place, and it's just like fun to keep track of shit. It's like its own Google Doc a bit for like
hey, high up is Green Day and Weezer on there.
So. And that's the thing. I've only had Last FM for a couple years, because if I had Last FM back when I was like 14, 15 years old, Green Day would be number 1 easily. Oh, yeah. Green Day, right now, for the last 2-ish years, Blink-182 is my number 1 at 2,400 Scrabbles. easily Green Day would be over 10,000. No competition.
Yeah.
It's no. Yeah. So that's where music is always kind of in the background for me, but for other media, I'll go in cycles.
Yeah.
Chris, didn't you say you had to do something around
He's
this
choking.
time?
He's choking.
Did I what?
He's choking.
Didn't you say you had to something you were doing around this time? Are we?
Am I doing
I'm
something?
yeah.
I mean, I do need to kind of leave within the next like 10 minutes, so I feel bad that we spent so much time.
Light right now. Dane, go.
I feel bad
Chris,
that I have to
answer
speed
as
run.
fast as
I
you
don't know if I
humanly
even
can.
physically can
Dane,
speed
go.
run, but
Ask
we'll
the
do it.
question.
Go for it.
Well, here, actually, most of my other stuff is basically already being answered, so I'm going to skip it to Egg and Dell.
Hey, go.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
go.
Thank you.
Go.
Thank you.
What was your favorite Nerf war to film?
Film. I mean, Infiltration just
three-way.
kind of stuck with me for so many reasons, but I was stressed the fuck out then. I don't even remember anymore. Infiltration is just kind of the one that's like I've been attached to. In terms of Nerf wars, in terms of other Nerf videos, the arenas were very fun. Loved doing the arenas.
Like when you puked.
That was fun. I really loved puking.
I
mean, and this is the funny thing where it's like, this is how my brain works. As I knew I was about to puke, I then, my dad was holding the camera. I turned it towards me.
Film me! Film me, goddammit.
And your least favorite Nerf war to film?
Liberation was pretty shitty.
Okay, yeah, we can all get that.
Yeah, Liberation
That's such a weird
sucked. Because also, unfortunately, I did end up kind of like hijacking meeting Spencer for the first time and not quite enjoying the experience, and instead being focused on, I want to do this video, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I look back on it. I'm like, why'd I do that? No.
Yeah.
That is his.
It's also just a
that is
really
his
weird
introduction to director Chris.
Yeah. Yep.
That's such a weird Nerf war as well, because it's like Spencer's like, I'm just a man who believes in justice. Then he tries to kill you to go to a barbecue.
It literally makes zero sense. It's my least favorite Nerf war. I don't like it.
Okay, Egg, go.
Last question. What is your favorite Left 4 Dead special infected?
Hunter.
Hunter, yeah. We know your
Yeah,
least favorite. It's the fucking jockey. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, well, the jockey is actually really
everybody.
cool. I would maybe say the boomer is my least favorite in terms of just like design and like when you run into them and stuff. But like the jockey just pisses me off. But yeah, Hunter's number one. I think the Hunter's so fucking cool. Second place though is the Witch, or no, maybe the Charger. Witch or Charger. Those are my top three. Those are the coolest ones.
Okay, why?
Yep.
Who is put? Dane, stop putting all these messages in the thing. Lunar has some questions. Yes, yes. So many, maybe even 4. Maybe cock and balls. What is this?
The ship piss
Dell,
podcast?
it's your turn.
Lunar hasn't put anything yet, but that's what the point.
Railroading MT.
I got it.
Shut up.
Dell's
Go.
question. Dell's question.
Del's
Who wrote
question.
I'm a slut?
I'm Del. Okay, so that was you. So I've been meaning to get an opinion on this because I've noticed after watching YouTube for years that there's, and just like generally online media, oftentimes I feel like there's a like it tends to just start off like as a small idea. There's just like some like a 2-minute video about it that it's like half a joke, and then they just make that a series. Like for example, there's this Pokemon animation that started off as a 2-minute long video, and now it's like 10 episodes, and the newest one was like 40 minutes, and it's like, how does that really happen? Like how does it happen that like a person makes a creative makes an idea, and then they just expand it to like talk about philosophy? Like what's up with that?
Well, an idea is like a seed. You know, you plant it, and then suddenly it's growing into this whole other thing. It takes on a life of its own. So when you start out with something, you're usually going at it, you know, the basic form of it, and you're going at it just from a pure passion standpoint of, I have this idea, I want to make it. So then you do it, and it's probably going to be simple and easy. But then what happens if you get views and people watch it? Suddenly you end up accidentally building an ego where you're like, oh, I guess what I'm doing is good, or people like it. I have to continue it. Okay, why do they like it? And now that original kernel is no longer pure. It is somewhat tainted a bit, because now you're looking at your previous art and figuring out why it did well, instead of just making art to do it in the first place. And as well, you want to build. Everything you make, you want the next one to be bigger and better.
Yeah.
So that's why you have stuff like Panic, where the first episode's 2 minutes, and then by the end you're at 27 minutes. Or Survival Island just kept going and going and going. Deep Sheep kept going and going. Every idea, eventually, it's hard to keep yourself in check, because sometimes you end up with something so great, like a milestone, that then you're like, I want to beat that. And a lot of times to beat it is to be bigger and better and
longer.
Yeah, and as well with, you were talking about how things become about philosophy by the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as well, I think, when you start out with that kernel of an idea, what you're talking about is a simple thing. But then as you've already talked about that simple thing, time to talk about something else or add detail to it. And eventually, if you talk about things long enough, you start talking about just the meaning of life and what any of this means and how to survive in the world. Which as well, it's funny because I've noticed this with each of the podcasts that we've done here. I've noticed that I talk about life and philosophy and mental health and all that shit more and more with each one. So it just happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you believe in God is our next question.
Yeah, okay, so
you can ask me who I'm going to vote for next? So what else? What else can I alienate people with?
Politician would you vote for?
Dell has one more question.
Don't talk about the Faroe Islands.
Dell has one more question, and then I have one last thing, and then we can wrap it up.
The final question is, now that you've had your break from making films and YouTube videos, how have you fulfilled yourself creatively?
How have you filled yourself?
How have you filled yourself?
How have you filled yourself?
I think he's meaning to say,
I'm confused what you're asking.
How have you scratched the creative itch?
Yeah, how have you fulfilled yourself
since you've been away from YouTube?
Yeah. Well, so I was working on a feature film script for most of that time. It started out with people reaching out to me asking for feature film ideas. And I said I had ideas, but I hadn't really written them. So I wrote outlines. And eventually one of them came around and I was like, okay, no, I actually really like this one a lot. So I was writing it. And it was just a very difficult process. It took months and months because it's 100 pages. Like I'd never written a feature before. And I was really determined to make it work, where I was like, I think this could be it, And then I have a teacher from my college that does a script consultation service, and I had him read through my script. He goes through every fucking thing. He will find every detail. He's a genius. And he went through it and tore it apart. I had to start over. So I started over. That was like March to August was the first version. Then he tore it apart. I started again in September, and it got difficult. And also, I was on a really good trajectory mental health wise. Just, I was on it for a bit. Like in my 26th birthday video, I was like feeling really good during that video. And that kept going, even though I had to restart my script. I still was determined to make it work. But then around the holiday season, the exhaustion and other things happening, I kind of spiraled a bit. I was not doing well. And so I wasn't really writing for a bit either. And then New Year started and I'm like, let's finish the fucking thing. I don't even know if it's going to be good, but let's do it. I finished it. I sent it to my teacher. We had a call in February. He tore it apart again. So I realized I probably have to start over again. And that's when I was like, okay, I guess it's not time to do the script. But I have a lot of ideas for shorts. And I'll tell you, writing a short script, much easier after you've written a 100-page feature twice. So that's where the noise next door came from. And now making this, I'm like, no, I'm going to do this a bit longer. Like, I feel like there's a lot of other things I got to figure out, but that script, I'll hold on to it.
All right, this is going to be the last topic, and then we're going to end this because we don't got much time left. So we mentioned this earlier, and we've actually talked about this before, but it's been refined since then. It's which of us are each Deep Sheep member. I'm going to try to start with the ones that make the least sense. Dell here makes the least sense because he's the Nathan. Literally the only thing really is that he's the quietest of all of us, but other than that, there's nothing. So, like, he's always been the least one. He
also fucking yells, too.
Can we say that he's not the quietest out of all of us? He really isn't, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, is it
probably Lunar.
Well, I just feel like I don't know what else. Anyway. For a while, Zach also didn't make sense because he was the Spencer just because we like Spencer and then we like Zach, so it's like people like him. But over time, it's made more sense because, one, we realized, he's into cinematography. He loves doing that. Zach loves that, so that makes a lot of sense. And then the other one was when I met him and I realized he's shorter than me because I thought I was the shortest person of the group. So I was like, Zach, you might be the shortest person of the group. You are the Spencer. So that was cool. Lunar for a while never made any sense because we set him as the Robbie, but then as time went on, he started to not watch our videos more, and he just fit into Robbie more.
He doesn't even know
time.
our colors.
Yeah,
Like,
we mentioned this on a previous podcast.
I do.
You know, I know our colors. You sound like in that one podcast when mentioning Mutation Mondays, and they were grilling Robbie for not only seeing one. He goes, "No, I've seen two."
I've seen
that's
two
what you
now.
sound
Yeah.
like. Egg screams louder than anyone, and he's just insane. Also, this is something I think most of us prefer. Is Alaxx? Alaxx I think is funnier in season 1 because the bad quality like fits his insanity, if that makes sense. And Egg used to have a terrible mic.
Really terrible quality. Me.
Yeah.
The funny thing is,
you are terrible quality.
Just in life, I have terrible quality.
I have terrible quality.
Also,
the second half of our fan series, I filmed on 3 separate laptops.
Oh right, yeah. That took so long.
Yeah, you mentioned, Chris, that you think Alaxx has the worst perspective of season 1. Egg by far has the worst season.
Oh, his is like
horrible.
jittering and shit.
Yeah.
Like his brightness is also
my
the lowest.
PC was on heroin, like on crack. Like
What is
He
that?
injected it into the
I
disk
can't.
drive.
I can't speak for myself. So does everybody else want to explain?
Everyone
why I'm the
agrees
Chris?
that he's Chris. He's like always been the main like
The
person
main guy.
scheduling, and like he was the main editor for Wheat Sanctuary season 1 and stuff like that. And so it was like all that for the longest time. He was just like edited everything, you know, and like was always the the person like, all right guys, let's film this, let's do this, making thumbnails, making everything.
And it's funny seeing you throughout the years because you're following a similar trajectory that I followed. Because I know early on you were angrier, louder, more visibly stressed. But you're getting into that more mellow stage where you're accepting and you're choosing your battles and you're used to the stress, so you're not letting it get to you as much. Instead, it's just that's just part of how you do it. You know, you just go with it.
I have not thought about that, but that is absolutely correct. Also, something I want to point out is when my William F. His Life cartoon blew up, Lunar told me, he said, you should feel lucky you're not like Chris where you're stuck with like, sorry, there's a battery thing, stuck with, being popular is something you don't like making because you like make cartoons. Now I'm infested with people asking me about making Five Nights at Freddy's cartoons all the time. So, now we come down.
Okay,
to
I want to explain this last part because I want to explain all the reasons why people.
No,
think
I want to explain them because I wrote them down.
No, I already know all of them. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
You don't know all of them. The point is, Luck, Matthew here, for a long time was the Camden. Then we added Dane to the group. And logically, you would think Dane's the Connor because he was added after our season 1. So, like, logically that makes sense. But there have been a couple things over the years that make us question this. For one, I met Dane first before he was in the group. Similar to how you met Camden first. And we were like, huh, that's weird. Hold on, I gotta pull up the list. I'll just list all the reasons. Reasons why Camden, not Camden. Reason why Luck is the Camden. I would definitely say is my right hand man. When it comes
what
to
was
editing.
that? What did you say that?
What?
Anyway, you called me Camden.
Stop throwing up his cough.
Reasons why that was on purpose. I'm gonna list the reasons you're the Camden, Luck. I would say you're definitely my editing right hand man. You have sort of a monotone voice. It's sort of gotten more angry and louder over the years. You suck at video games. You've gotten betrayed by me before, I'm pretty sure. You murdered my horse. You have a large family. These are reasons why Dane is the Camden, okay? First person to meet the Chris of the group. His skin is a Halo Spartan. His favorite color is orange. He has a monotone voice.
This is for Dane, by the way, not for
This one's funny. It just says fat. He has the.
It's not even true.
Yeah. Well, it's just a joke that Dane was fat for a while. He is the. This one's. I don't even know if I should say this, but he has the darkest skin out of any of us.
Camden's the darkest.
Well, hold on. So there's parts to that make sense, and then there's like inside joke essence to that as well.
I want to explain why people say I'm the Connor.
Hold on, I'm not done yet. Okay. I have that too. I have everything. I have here. Dane did a Nerf war with the Chris of the group. That's one of the reasons. Dane also has a huge family. This was the big earth-shattering one that we learned recently. Me and Dane were born in the same state, similar to you and Camden being born in the same state. very weird coincidence. We found that recently. He's got a lot of Pixar in his background. He's very chill. His statue is to the left of me, which is the same place as where Camden is to you on your world. It's almost the same age gap between you and Camden. Me and Dana basically the same. Wow. And his favorite game is Halo Reach, which is also Camden's favorite game. Now, reasons why Luck are the Connor.
I want to say it. I want to say the reason why I'm the Connor.
You look like
I'm
him.
the youngest.
Yes.
I'm the youngest. I guess we're similarly passionate about things. And I guess energetic or whatever. And then for me, this is probably not as big to other people, but this is just a crazy coincidence because it was like
wild.
There's like the weird like rivalry quote unquote of like the holy shit get fucking rid of Connor, and then I was also in other best comments videos and he would be like, that's that fucking Luck guy, and what's funny is like there's this one where it's like you guys are reading my name, you're like the luckiest impossible, and he's not even looking at the comment, he goes, oh, Luck is impossible, that guy, like he knows the name by heart, like, and then like this is a crazy thing in one podcast or whatever, you guys are like, Connor, what's your middle name? And he goes, Matthew. And I was like, oh, that's weird. My first name is Matthew. My middle name is Connor.
Insane.
And I was like, that's fucking weird. Yeah, I don't remember any of the other ones.
The other ones are, you're ginger, you're thin, you have no chill, you have a very empty statue on our world, you both like birds, you and me are basically the same age gap between Chris and Connor, you have the... Oh, that's not a reason. It says you're a total fucking cuck. That doesn't make any sense.
Connor is a total fucking cuck. Let's be fair.
We do have an eyewitness.
Let's be real here.
There's a part of your face that is particularly large. And then that one's insanely loose. I'm just gonna skip that. Then reasons why Dane is the Connor. He was added to the group after season 1. He was added in a podcast. His house store doesn't have much to show, and he has the same favorite game. So Camden and Connor both have Halo Reach as the same favorite game. So basically that means nothing from what I brought up.
The thing is that, like, on those totems, almost everybody in Deep Sheep had Halo Reach as their favorite game. So, like,
well, that also showed how we weren't really gamers. We all kind of just played the same game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you've seen all the evidence, Chris...
Well, I just wanted to say, first off, this is a running joke we have where it's like they'll say something, it's like, oh, that's why Dane's the Connor. I'm like, nah, it's not. Like, it's always like, no. Like, it's kind of this
well,
joke.
Which do you think, Chris? Do you think Matthew here is...
So I go based on more like behavior, and I haven't seen Dane on camera, unfortunately, but just based on Matthew and the way he talks, I'd say Matthew's Connor.
We got it.
See, it's been confirmed.
Emmett, that's the killing blow right there.
Here's why his opinion doesn't matter. Okay, guys. I mean, when you think about
my opinion.
Thank you guys for watching the Chris Podcast 4. This has been really good.
Guys for watching. I'm gonna do.
Oh right, okay. We got to wrap this up. I'm sure you got to go, Chris. Del, get back to the bed. I'm not the bed. You're on the bed. Get to the chair. Get to the mic. Come back. This is something we discussed 3 hours ago. Is Matthew's the one who made the suggestion. We're all going to do the outro all the exact same time. Don't try to make it fit together. Just do a random outro and we'll all just go at the exact same time. All right, everybody ready? All right,
okay.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, thank you. This has been a pretty good podcast. Someone's left the call. I would thank you all for watching. Chris is gone, and we will see you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye.
What a punk ass bitch.
All right, fuck off.